is back. Famous and great view of that Manhattan skyline, although the story is down several stories on the ground and on the streets. The starting line, the TCS New York City Marathon, where about 30,000 runners are about to cross the Maratona Narrows Bridge and begin their long journey to the finish line, where we are here in Central Park. Give you a look at the finish line in the back of our booth here for the next 3 hours as we welcome in everyone and wish them good morning. John Anderson, thrilled to be bringing you coverage of the 50th running of the TCS New York City Marathon. It's the golden anniversary, and alongside my esteemed, very speedy guest, joined again this year, Carrie Tullifson, an Olympian and a 5-time Olympian in the booth for the very first time, 2-time Olympic medalist Bernard Lagat. Good morning to you. I'm excited. I probably need to get my heart rate down. I want to know how you guys are feeling.
Hey, we are back, like you said it. Everybody is back, and we are excited to see the elites, the masses, the wheelers, everyone. Let's bring it.
I'm excited. I wish I could be on the other side now because the weather is nice. Good to be back in New York. This is going to be exciting races, and you know we're here to just witness it and just basically to see who is going to just do the best thing today.
More nerves here, or if you're out there?
I think I'm a little nervous here. I think over there I just do my job.
3 hours, it'll be great. Professional women's race gets underway in about 8 minutes. New York Road Runners, as always, has assembled a really great, global, incredibly deep field, starting with the reigning Olympic champion. We've got a gold medalist, Paris Cheptic, here from Kenya.
Yeah, Paris is here after being in Sapporo 13 weeks ago. Now, a lot of people might think 13 weeks is a long time. Well, not in marathon running. And can she come back? Molly Seidel, we are seeing someone here that's running her 4th marathon ever. She did win the bronze in Sapporo, but you know what? This woman wants to cap off this year. She said it's been an emotional roller coaster ride. It's been wonderful, but I do think there's times where it's emotionally tiring when you win a medal and you're still having to train. We also have Rudiaga. She was 3rd here in 2019. We have to keep our eyes on her.
All right, as we look at the MasterCard women to watch, there's 3. Also, Bernard, these 3 could very well be towards the front of the pack for a long time in this race.
And we have Babel Yeshana from Ethiopia. She trains in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. She's strong. She has the fastest half marathon time. And at the same time, we have Sally Kabir. She's been here before 5 years ago. She won. She was 2nd place. And then we have Viola Lagat. That's my little sister. We're excited to see how she's going to do tonight. This morning. A little excitement, but also a little nervousness.
By the way, if you want to know how good a brother he is, before we left the hotel, he's calling to make sure she got out of bed this morning.
That's
she's on
right.
the bus. So she's out there. She's on the finish line, on the start line, and ready to go. 4 races really involved here today. We have the Open for the men's and the women's, and then men's and women's wheelchair divisions, and they got started at 8 o'clock this morning. They were the first ones off and across the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, and really kind of a clear podium favorite. We've got here Daniel Romanchek, twice the defending champion here, Marcel Hoog, who's won here 3 times, and then David Weir's also a champion. Romanchek and Hoog, they flip-flop victories in Chicago and Boston on consecutive days. This is the 20th year of the wheelchair races at the TCS New York City Marathon. You see the start of the women's race, and again, there just 3 fantastic talents led by Manuela Schar, who seems to have just won everything except for the Paralympics down in Tokyo this year. That was won by Madison Di Rosario. Some question about her tactics, sat back, then took her and pipped the gold medal by 1 second. Of course, Tatiana McFadden going for a 25th major marathon victory and would be her 6th, the record setter here in New York City. You take a look at the wheelers out there. That's Marcel Hoog. He's out there alone. Apparently, he's got an overdue library book or something. He's on his way. The women's race still with those top 3 coming. They are pumped up, certainly out on Staten Island, Fort Wadsworth. The pro women getting going in about 5 minutes now. It has been 735 days since the last edition of this race, and now the world's biggest marathon has returned, and the runners are ready to tackle the streets of New York. They are grateful, and they run with brave and joyful.
The TCS New York City Marathon is brought to you by
Services Technology. Enhance the TCS New York City Marathon. Scan this code, you see it on your screen, explore the course map and augmented reality through the Marathon City 3D map. It offers an unbelievably cool and immersive experience. Scan it now, check it out, and I believe you can also see the menu and get takeout from the New York Road Runners. Hey, let's go to Staten Island because it is running time and the elite women's pro field is ready to go.
Once again,
26 miles of road and 50 years of history here at the New York City Marathon. Frank Sinatra serenades every start, every wave that goes off. I've often wondered, though, because I believe that it was originally recorded by Liza Minnelli. Maybe they should have her version for the start of the women's race.
I don't know, but I get the goosebumps every single time I hear that song and I see these ladies start this race this day. It is going to be an amazing day. But right away, we're seeing Molly Seidel off to the races. But you know what? Steph Bruce did something really cool in the lobby this morning.
Okay.
Dina Castor, who we're going to welcome into the show soon, she gave a fist pump and she said, I need a little Dina Castor magic, the American record holder magic. And I just thought that was brilliant. I love Steph Bruce. She's had a phenomenal build-up for this. She is a mom. She is an advocate. She is out there just putting the work in. She trains alongside Taylor right there, right behind her, Kellen Taylor. But yeah, Lauren Sweet right there. Lauren Sweet, excuse me, she is somebody to watch. There's so many big names right there.
And we should mention that even though there was not a race here in 2020, there was a virtual race, and Steph Bruce won that in a time of 2:35.28 as she came through. So in her own way, she is a New York City Marathon champion. As you look at Molly Seidel there making her New York City Marathon debut today, she said during her press conference that she knew there were bridges, she just didn't know exactly how many and where they were. Well, she found the first one. Here's the first bridge and the first hill. It's right there. It's the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, and it's a whole mile long going up that thing. So she's got some inexperience, but that's never been a liability for Seidel. She qualified for the Olympic team in her debut marathon. And at those games in August in Japan, she delivered a career-changing, a life-changing performance.
27-year-old American from Heartland, Wisconsin.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. I'm Molly.
She surprised everyone at the U.S. Olympic Marathon Trials in Atlanta, and she's surprising everybody again.
Welcome to my home.
She's surprising everyone but herself.
This here, this is my medal.
She joins Olympic U.S. marathon history. Joan Benoit, the winner of the inaugural marathon in '84 in L.A. Dina Castor, who got bronze in Athens.
Nice of you to join me. Let's chat. Everybody kind of talks about like that little like fourth grade, me writing out like I want to go to the Olympics and win a medal. I wrote that after watching you win bronze in Athens. Almost in my head, I see like Dina, Joni, and then...
Please drink a beer for me.
I literally am so sick of talking about myself.
J-O-N-A-T-H-A-N, green like the color, G-R-E-E-N.
He's my best friend.
So I'm Molly Seidel's coach.
When he started coaching me, I was coming off of a massive surgery, emotionally really down and out. Like, I thought I was gonna not be in this sport anymore. Figuring out my exit strategy.
I hadn't coached anybody before. I was like, I'm happy to sit down and talk with you.
And he's like, I think you've got a lot more in you than where you're at right now.
She's just hard as nails.
Just someone who genuinely supports me and my mental health and me as a person.
She has a kick-ass, like, competitive spirit, and that coupled with her talent and tolerances, she's very, very badass.
I can't imagine what they're feeling right now, watching their daughter, their sister, their best friend compete for an Olympic medal in only her third marathon.
I'm coming through and I see him, and I could tell how excited he was.
We knew the move was going to happen.
And he just shouted, like, Rule 5.
Which is harden up, just go with it.
Knowing that those next 4 miles were going to be the hardest of the entire race.
She's running the race of her life.
Molly Seidel, you're an Olympic medalist.
Holy like, we just did that.
It was sweet. It was fun.
So grateful for everyone who got me here, and I'm so happy.
I'm feeling good.
Like, okay, like, we have to have a plan for after. And it was always going to be New York. You think of the New York City Marathon when you think, like, big city OG marathon. New York City was obviously hit extremely hard by the pandemic. Being able to have a major marathon where you have thousands of people running, thousands of people spectating, I think that really is an indicator of like, okay, like, we're back. People from New York are gonna hate me because I actually legit really don't like bagels.
Well, she doesn't have to stop off at any deli right now. I think she's fine. She really is. She's kind of funny. She could be a little bawdy with her language. She's certainly been open and honest about her past struggles with OCD and eating disorders, but she's happy, she's healthy, and is running as well as she has in her entire career. And that goes back to high school championships, Notre Dame championship.
Yes.
She's terrific.
I think that's what you said. She's happy and healthy. That's what makes a great athlete. And she's gone through the ups and downs of the sport and life. And, you know, it really is fun to see her smile, see her goof around. And, you know, she knows her audience. She's talking about bagels here in New York. And she said, you know, the OG of all marathons. I love that.
As they come down the Maratona Narrows Bridge, and then it's into Brooklyn for a good long stretch. Take a look at the city. We're in there somewhere, and that's where they're headed. You're watching the 50th TCS New York City Marathon on ESPN2.
This is what the Bronx feels like, looks like, and is.
Got a slightly fewer people covering this race and actually participating in. There's a different vibe to it this year. Runners certainly grateful to be back, believed to have made it to the starting line as always. They're healthy and ready to run. And maybe they're a little antsy to get going with COVID protocols, a little different race this year. You know what else is different? We have a new race director, and our Ryan Field is at the start with Ted Metellus right now. Ryan?
That we do, John. Joined now by Ted, the first black race director of a world major marathon. Ted, what does that mean to you to have that distinction on the 50th running of this great race?
You know, I'm trying to figure out what's more historic, to be honest with you. Being the first black race director, the first, but not the last, you know, by any means, as far as just setting the trend and shining a light for those that set the path for us before, you know. Hopefully, my being in this position will inspire others in the future.
That is the hope for sure. We are grateful to have this race back after a year off. What does it mean to you? What does it mean to the city?
I mean, look around you. The energy's alive. The city's alive. There's so many people that are out and about. 50 years of running, 50 years of legacy. It's like the biggest alumni party ever. Everyone's going to be out and about cheering on our runners.
As John pointed out, so many different things with this year's race. Talk about the challenges of putting this event together during a pandemic.
You know, it was tremendous, but the greatest takeaway from it was the partnership from the city and the state, our colleagues in the industry, and people coming together. I mean, that's one of the biggest takeaways from the pandemic, is the importance of people coming together and helping one another when they're in need the most. We came together with the city, and this is the fruits of our labor.
And to top it all off, you said you prayed for a good weather day, and we got one today, my friend.
One day a year is what I asked for. One day, and we got it.
It is a perfect day for the 50th running of this great race, John. We'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, perfect day, right? It's 45 degrees. There's not much wind. It is ideal, Bernard.
Oh, you cannot ask for a better day than today. This is really good because the thing is, you're in there, you're in that group, and the weather is favorable. So all you have to do is just don't worry about that.
And after what we saw at the Olympic Marathon in Tokyo, they moved it to Sapporo. They wanted to go up in the mountains, higher elevation, and it was still stifling hot and just suffocating humidity as they come off the Maratona Narrows Bridge now. 6:06 for the first mile, right? That's a long uphill.
Yeah, and you kind of laughed at me because I was like, yeah, that's about right, you know, just getting up the hill, you know, nothing too crazy. And you laughed at me. 6:06, but it is one of the hardest miles of the course. You have to just get into it. You can't look at your watch at this one. You don't want to go too fast now on this mile when we're coming down the hill. That's the big thing.
You see the lead pack there. Alongside of the Americans, two other American women there from the Northern Arizona Elite Squad with Ben Rosario, Stephanie Bruce, Kellen Taylor, Sally Kipyego is up front, Paris Chepchir. I mean, everybody that you would expect in the elite field is all right there. And we'll be curious to see how long that pack stays together. And that's part of the allure of the race and the fascination that we watch. Off the bridge and getting ready for a dozen miles in Brooklyn here at the TCS New York City Marathon.
A lot of people want to know about my family. We have a magical house. Casita, help me out. Drawer. Floors.
Experience in my nursing career. Running had a huge impact in my life during the pandemic. After I run, I just have so many positive vibes, and I bring them to work, and that really helps. We've been working so hard, and now the races are coming back, the marathon training is coming back, For the other nurses that are racing or the healthcare providers, we work very hard and we deserve this moment just to enjoy yourself. The New York City Marathon is the best experience, so have fun. I am so happy to be training for the TCS New York City Marathon in the professional field. I'm so thrilled to be part of it with the best runners in the whole world. Thank God I have a good support of my co-workers, my family. They keep me motivated to achieve my running goals. They are very proud of me, I can tell.
Proud, and as well they should be. Anna combining her nursing career with very high-level running. There you see competitor 136. 39, her personal best 243. That's about a 6:13 mile pace. Certainly impressive, and more impressive is just all that she has done for the community. I mean, I think we're all grateful for everyone that has taken care of people in the last 21 months, and everyone that has done things to serve their community to get things moving again, get people out there, keep them healthy, keep them safe. Take a look at the wheelchair action as they go down now. Marcel Hoog at the halfway point was up by more than 3 minutes in his race. The women's race considerably closer, but looks like Manuela Schar and Tatiana McFadden and De Rosario are all certainly taking up the gauntlet in the race and will be there deep into Manhattan. Now we take a look at the elite women's field as they come through. Now you can finally, after going up the hill for 6:06, after we go down in 5:36, now we can settle in and find our pace.
Settle in. All three of the athletes leading the charge right now are training in Flagstaff, Arizona. You know, they're used to the climbs, they're used to the downhills, but this is where you really get to kind of settle in, get going in this race.
And riding along and reporting on the road with our leaders is American record holder in the marathon, Olympic bronze medalist in the marathon. So what I'm saying is you can trust her. It's Dina Castor. Good weather for you and the runners. And what's good this morning with you, Dina Castor?
Good weather, and I really have the best seat in this marathon leading the women this morning. Goodbye, Staten Island, and hello, Brooklyn. Just like that, we're two boroughs into this 5-borough tour. 50 years ago, Nina Kusik was the only female in the race. And so these women really have her to thank for performing on the stage that they are today. Can you believe the state of American distance running? Look at this lead pack. You have it looks like Annie Frisbee on the far left of your screen in the white singlet, Stephanie Bruce in the orange singlet and sunglasses, her teammate and training partner Kellen Taylor in the white hat and orange shirt, bronze medalist Molly Seidel on the right of your screen. Behind her is McKenna Myler and Sally Kipyego. The state of U.S. distance running is strong. This is one of the best marathon fields we've seen in the 50 years of New York marathon history. So it is just really a thrill to be here and see us performing on such a big stage in such a beautiful way.
Hey, Dina, you know, we know Annie Frisbee. We got to give a shout out to her having such a phenomenal fall with all the different road races, but jumping up to 26.2. You know, you being such a phenomenal runner over that distance, what is it like? What is she feeling right now when she's running with this pack?
Yeah, I think Annie is just riding the American wave right now. We've had so many runners lead the way. Molly Seidel obviously winning bronze, but her performance this summer at the Olympics led the way for Sarah Hall and Emma Bates to perform and get podium finishes in Chicago. So it is just so fun to see race after race that Americans are finding their way onto the podium and leading these races. And just like that, Paris Dipchurcher, one of our pre-race favorites, goes to the lead to grab her water bottle. Fluids important.
Yes.
Back
Stay hydrated and get your nutrition as you go along the way. Paris Dipchurcher, she won the gold in the Tokyo Olympics, part of this great race and great field. Molly Seidel, bronze in that same race. Sally Kipyego, silver medalist at 10,000 meters. All the medalists, all the glory in New York today.
Can you feel that? It's that New York energy. We feel that energy all over
the elite field.
The magic of this event has been more than 50 years in the making. Half a century ago, 127 hardcore distance runners set off on a 4-lap race of Central Park. The winner, an unassuming fireman named Gary Merca, could not have known in 1970 how many legendary champions, titans of the sport, would follow in his footsteps, or that New York would grow to be the biggest marathon in the world.
The history that these streets have seen and just the greats that have crossed this finish line.
The race was soon moved out of Central Park to the streets of the city. An unprecedented 5-borough tour that attracted the best runners on the planet and throngs of spectators who wanted to watch them.
I think there's nothing quite like it when you're 5 people deep in a crowd and everyone's screaming.
It's here where the fiercest champions have showcased their mettle, and where tens of thousands of athletes from every corner of the globe come together to conquer the unforgiving and extraordinary 26.2-mile course.
The whole race is challenging. The climbs, the descents, and the climbs again.
A half a century since this race's inception, it's more exciting, it's more inspiring, it's more magical than ever. This is the 50th running of the TCS New York City Marathon.
The world's greatest city is back.
The world's greatest marathon is back.
The world's greatest fans are back.
Flyover compliments of NYPD's aviation unit. Kick in the goosebumps for free. Just go right over the starting line there. Now we're going to talk about the people that are going to fly through the streets in this and preview the men's race. So we're about to lean on you very heavily here, Bernard Lagat.
Right, let's go.
As I look at this, I look at the scene, the field, because I'm an optimist. I think each of these guys, there's 2 reasons they can win, but then there's 3 reasons why they can't.
Oh yeah, because it's really, full of talent.
It's full of talent.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Olympic silver medalist.
Yes, we have Adrian Nagaya from the Netherlands. He's 32 years old. He's coming fresh from that silver medal from Tokyo Olympics. He is excited. He told me he's coming here just the first time running New York, but he wants to get into that podium and actually be the number 1. That's what he wanted to have right now. And so he's excited, but also he's going to have a big challenge from Kenenisa Bekele, the 2nd fastest man ever in the world, 2:01 in the marathon. That is amazing stuff in itself. We have Candia, who is a great half marathoner. He's a world record holder in 57:32 for half marathon. He's doing his first marathon ever. He's never run a marathon, but that guy's ready. He's ready to show up in New York, and he said he's going to just step into the race and see what happens.
He can clearly run the first half. We'll see if he's got the back half. Also making a debut at this distance carry is American Ben True.
I think everyone has been waiting for this moment. We have watched this man run so well over 5,000 meters, 10,000 meters, the half marathon here in New York City. And now he says he's ready for the big one. He's ready for 26.2. He's a new dad. He's got a lot of new things going on in his life, but he has other guys that want this win or want a great race here. Albert Carrier, he was 2nd in 2019. He's our top returner. He hasn't raced much since, actually 1 time since this last race. Jared Ward, he's the top American the past 2 times we've run here at the TCS New York City Marathon, and he always shows up. He's had kind of a bumpy ride the last couple years, but he always shows up.
That's been terrific, but something about the streets of New York to rejuvenate him. Enough of this talking. Let's do running. We are moments away from the professional men's start. We sent it out to Staten Island, Fort Wadsworth, to hear from Karen Hempel, the CEO of New York Roadrunners.
Good morning, runners. Welcome and thank you so much for being with us today for the highly anticipated 50th running of this iconic event. At New York Roadrunners, our mission is to help and inspire through running, and all of you here today are the inspiration for the next generation and for the city of New York waiting there to cheer you on. So good luck, and I can't wait to see you at the finish line. It is now my honor to introduce my colleague and the race director of the TCS New York City Marathon, Ted Metellus.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you to the amazing staff, volunteers, and crew. Thank you, runners. Thank you, New York. Welcome to the the 2021 TCS New York City Marathon. Last time we were on the start line here was 735 days ago. 20 years ago, I joined New York Roadrunners during a time when the city needed some energy, needed some life back. A momentous moment, just like it is today. Today, we're reminded of the power of community and the power of coming together. Today's race is historic on so many levels, so thank you all so much for making this an incredible one. Runners, your command will be on your mark and the cannon. We're gonna need some energy here, folks. Start teams, are you ready? Timers, are you ready? Lead vehicles, are you ready? Here we go. Athletes, are you ready? That's what I like to hear. Once again, your final command will be on your mark and then the horn. Have a great run and thank you. Athletes, on your mark.
Everybody, so they know that they're out there and they are ready to go through the 5 boroughs, over the 5 bridges. Somebody, 3 of them will find their way to that podium. Really, that is a really great line on the resume. If you can be the top 3 here in New York City. I think it was Rod Dixon used to say, New York is the one you have to win. And in some regard, I think Bernard, for all he has done in his career, that's why Kenenisa Bekele is here.
He wants to come to New York because that is what is going to cement all that you've done in the marathons. Without New York, you just feel like there's something that I just missed. And so coming here to New York, amazing race, Bekele's, that's why he's here today.
Ran in Chicago many years ago, but then hasn't run in the States very often as well. It would be something where you feel like this would suit him, given how great he has been over his career in cross-country races, because we've got turns here, we've got those 5 bridges that makes for hills. So depending on how he feels coming back from Berlin 6 weeks ago, where he finished 3rd, it would seem that it sets up okay for him.
It seems like that way, but New York is a different course as well. You know, it has its own challenges. But Bekele, he knows how to race. But if he's going to bite his time earlier on and then unleash towards the end, that is where he's going to have that advantage.
And you said something to me the other day that I found really intriguing, is that when the rest of those elite field, even though they're elite marathoners, line up, they know that's Bekele, and so they're aware of who he is, how he runs, and he can dictate some of this just by having his name on his bib.
Just by being Bekele, everybody would follow him because they feel it. And Bekele at that point is running his own pace. He knows how much energy he's putting in there, and all those things that he's going to have as his own advantage. That's what he's doing, and everybody else will be following.
Yeah, I mean, he is the boss, and you got to watch out for the boss. So let's take a look at the TCS leaderboard in the women's race. Is that her Minnesota girl, Crispy, over there?
Well, she did go to Iowa State, but she is training in Minnesota, and, you know, I am just so thrilled for her. She is really having a great training block, and, you know, she had a couple little hiccups, which a lot of people do, but just think of who she is leading behind her. You know, she has Olympic medalist, she has the gold medalist, she has a silver medalist, a 9-time NCAA champion, Sally Kipyego, right behind her. So, yeah, I mean, fun for Annie Frisbee. I think she is a really great talent, and she could do some damage today.
Now we go back to the start of the first wave. Now, it used to be the first wave was the elite men, and then everybody, they've separated them by 5 minutes this time, but they are ready to go. Fewer runners this year, 40% is what they agreed on to bring it down. So instead of 50,000 plus, it's about 30,000 plus out here, but they are all ready to go and take their shot and make their journey here at the TCS New York City Marathon. 5 waves and all. One of them will start around noon, which puts you up against the clock because it's going to get dark by about 4:45 or 5. So your last one. And in that pack, running with the people who we saw briefly is 2017 champ Shalane Flanagan.
Oh, every time I see them replay her win, I know I'm not supposed to cry on air, but I want to every time. So fun to see her in the Project Eclipse, as she calls it.
We'll touch more on her bid to run 6 marathons in 6 weeks as we continue on here. There's right there in the front line. Good, we got a Yankee. Can't tell. No, it's not Derek Jeter.
Let's see those hands up. Let's make some noise.
Listen, we got apps. We have the internet, the Instagram, and the Twitters, and the Facebook, and we still run this foot race.
Huge shout
that
out
dates
to
back
every single
2,500
person
years.
that's here today.
Right? We run because
all the
we
people
can.
that have been working here overnight.
We run because we
to the
can.
amazing team and crews. Thank you so
the race
much.
director said,
To those that open the door for opportunity for people like me.
And coming
Thank
together.
you so
and that's
much.
what you feel on the start
To my
line.
mom and dad,
when
I know
you're
they're
there,
looking down,
there's so many
smiling at me
people
right
out there.
now.
But yeah, we're all
Thank
doing
you
this thing
so
together,
much.
no matter how fast you are.
Joanne
That's pretty
Navarro, I
special.
see you up
It is
there.
amazing because you run individually. It's just you don't have teammates. You can't
How about
sub
we
in.
crush 26.2 miles today?
Between the crowds that you run with and the
Let's
fans,
breathe
like
some
you're
life
never
back into
alone
the city
at the
today.
New York City Marathon.
Are you ready? All right, now let's go. Your command will be clearly on your mark and then the cannons. Start team, are we ready? Timers, are we ready? Athletes, are we ready? Outstanding. Once again, have a good time. And your final command will be on your mark. And then the horn. On your mark. There it is, folks. Have an amazing run. Thank you so much. Karen, you're amazing. We did it. We brought this thing back 735 days later. Thank you to all of our runners today. Thank you to the volunteers, to our staff, to all our partners, our friends at NPS, National Parks PD, NYRR, FDNY, EMS, every single one of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So they're on their way, 26.2 miles. Let's take a look at the course map. They follow blue line. This is what it looks like from above, Carrie.
Yeah, you know, you get onto the bridge there, you go up, then you come down, and then you have to really let this course take its course. You're going to be flat through Brooklyn. You're going to hear the crowds get pretty loud. You know, the elites might not hear the massive roaring that the masses hear, but this is where you have to be careful and take in that fluid, take in that nutrition, because here's halfway.
And when you get into the Queens, you have to get ready for the Queensboro Bridge, which is a little lonely. As a matter of fact, it's a little tougher over there. Then you get onto the Thunder Island. That is the First Avenue. You're going to have a lot of energy there. Then you go into the Bronx, and then you turn all the way. That is where you have to gauge where you have to be at that point. 22, 23 mile marker. That's where you have to put the hammer down. If you clear that hill on the 23rd, and then you come onto the Central Park, then you turn all the way at Columbus Circle, then you just have a little incline and you finish, and that is where the finals are going to start. Celebrate.
So just summing up for Carrie and Bernard there, we'd like to alert New Yorkers there will be some road closures that they'll have to deal with today. One event, but many races, a lot of cameras, a good look at some of the, I'm going to borrow from Scott Hansen, NFL Red Zone. We got a sextuple box here at the TCS New York City Marathon.
Remember when no dream...
Just drop in, don't you just hear the music and know that there's Monday Night Football coming? Of course there is, but I'll read it anyway. Monday Night Football matchup has Justin Fields and the Bears in Pittsburgh to take on Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers, who've won 3 straight. At this point in the season, critical for both teams. 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, ESPN-F. You want to hear my man Steve Levy. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6 Eastern time. Take a look at the Bears on Narrows Bridge. That thing's going to be packed up for a while. I think the toll is included in your entry fee when you run here at the New York City Marathon. Sea of humanity lined up there. It's a far cry from the humble origins of this race. When the New York Roadrunners first started organizing events, they had no idea what a phenomenon they had unleashed.
New York Roadrunners
return started in 1958 with Ted Corbett as its first president.
He had the visibility to lead because of his accomplishments. Three-time national champion at various distances.
World War II veteran.
The first black American Olympic marathon runner.
In a sport that has been so overwhelmingly white in this country.
Quiet, stoic, incredible athlete set the foundation for the first marathon here in Central Park. 127 athletes doing loops around the park, 55 finishing.
McCombsdam Park, where that was the meeting place in the men's locker room. So there wasn't any room for women running. And then a kind of a idiosyncratic fellow came on the scene, Fred LeBeau.
A period of time when New York City needed something. He was the person that was needed.
Fred kept calling me and asking me to tell the press that I was going to try to break 3 hours. And I was not ready to break 3 hours.
Well, you have 3 children. When do you find time to run?
I'll get a babysitter.
Nina was the only woman who started that race.
I ran about 15 miles, and then I decided it might be better for me to quit. And of course, it lives in history, the first New York City Marathon, no women finishes.
My name is Gary Merca. I won the first New York City Marathon. Right now, I'm 81 years old.
Gary Merca was a fireman.
We had been out all night. It really wasn't my intent to run it. Called my wife and said, I'm coming home. And she said,
She was dying to get out of the house, so he said, okay, fair enough.
I had a good day. Yeah, I had a good lucky day. I remember my time, 2:31:38. I got it stenciled on the back of my ear.
50 years later, he's still out there running.
Never stop running. Running cures everything.
And that first marathon, it cost $1 to enter. And they gave you wristwatches and they re-gifted the trophies. There's Gary Merca right there, that first winner. Still, as we said, avid runner, looks great at 81. Nina Cusick's there. She actually won the race in 72, so she did finish. And she eventually got under the 3-hour mark in 1973 when she won again in 2:57:07. Just 2 of the 13 original finishers who have gathered once again here at the finish line to be honored for their accomplishment back there in 1970. And the only one of the 55 finishers from 1970 that's also running the marathon today is Larry Trachtenberg, who's 67. Means he was a teenager when he ran at 1970. And earlier today, Ryan Field caught up with Larry.
Larry is the only one of the 55 finishers of the first New York City Marathon back in 1970 to be running the full marathon today, and that has to probably come with a lot of emotions for you today, Larry.
Yeah, I've been crying all morning when I hear like America the Beautiful, you know, and I think of my grandparents coming to New York and, you know, my parents growing up in Brooklyn, you know, and then I hear Frank Sinatra comes on, I start crying some more, you know, so I'm just like hoping it hasn't sapped the energy out of me, but I don't know if I have any tears left inside of me.
Well, on a day like today, that is allowed. So many good memories, including the first race you ran back in 1970. How did you run that race so long ago?
Well, just being in shape for the upcoming high school cross-country season. And then I just hoping that was good enough shape to run the marathon.
And you saw an article about it in the New York Times?
Saw an article in the New York Times a few weeks before the race. So I went up to Van Cortlandt Park and did a test run of 13 miles, doing a bunch of loops of the high school cross-country course. It felt pretty easy, and I said, okay, I pronounced myself fit. And then I went ahead and did the marathon, yeah.
And 51 years later, could you ever have envisioned it would turn into the spectacle that it is today?
No way, you know, because back then, no media, no fanfare, you know, no gates to walk through, you know, nothing was closed off to people, no spectators, you know, so.
And here you are running this great race again today. What's your goal? What's your time goal today?
My goal, if I'm lucky, without any, you know, assuming I don't get any cramps or muscle pulls, 4 hours and 26 minutes.
We got a good feeling about it, Larry.
Okay.
He was 16 when he ran New York back in 1970. Now he's doing so today at the age of 67. John, back to you.
Thank you, Ryan. What an amazing guy that fella is, huh? Take a look at the TCS leaderboard as we see the women's field, which isn't really shuffled up much since we saw them last time. Americans right there, right across your screen in Frisbee and Taylor, and then Molly Seidel.
You know, Kellen Taylor has had a big buildup. I just was speaking to her coach, Ben Rosario, with Northern Arizona Elite, and he said she's done more mileage than she ever has. She was tired for most of her buildup, but she's been coming around the last couple weeks, and he thinks she's ready for a big race. He thinks that if the different buildup works for her, today's the day. She's a 2:24 marathoner. Is she 2:24 over this course? That would be a pretty awesome day. That'd be a new American record here on the Twin Cities, or on the New York City Marathon course, Twin Cities.
And at this point, though, they're just kind of, I don't want to say biding their time, but they're casually running here. The race has not been engaged yet. They're just kind of jogging, or I don't know, maybe it's jogging. It might be a soft Y, a soft J. I'm not sure what it is. And now we take a look at the pro men's field, where the unmistakable Tees Nijhuis, who I have as low Dane finisher in the company pool, he's out there leading in front. He's decided to press the pace and say, yeah, I led the New York City Marathon for a while. And keeping pace with the men's lead pack today is the best interviewer in track and field, hands down. Although Lewis Johnson does not get to talk to these people till actually when they finish. Lewis, you make the broadcast better. What do you got for us this morning?
My friend John, you are so kind. You mean I can't stop and talk to them right now? No. I don't get that. Okay, I think I'll stick in the car right here. Okay, I'll wait. It's been a great morning. Listen, we had a tremendous send-off, and then we came across the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, which I would call an airplane wing, okay? Because it's like the wind blowing across. It was chilly and cold, and everybody running in a straight line to get there. There was a cruise ship that actually was passing underneath the bridge as we went by, and it blew the horn. But Kele actually took a look over and said, wow, this must be what New York is like. And it is. He is really enjoying, I think, this entire scene. Now, one of the things for Bekele, I'm watching him very closely. He knows, because this is his debut, first time running this race. He has no idea about the course in terms of actual repetition and running it. So he has to be very careful, and he has to concentrate on what he's doing. No pacemakers, no one to really follow. I noticed as he was coming up to the first elite water table, he really made a concentrated effort to get over and grab that bottle to get his hydration. But I just see real determination in his face as the rest of these runners are all right behind him. Now I want to mention to you one quick story here. I know we have the wheelchair division, which is always excellent here, and they'll be finishing up soon. And in that field, you've got the silver bullet, Marcel Hug of Switzerland, who won 4 gold medals at the Paralympic Games. I was there. In the marathon, behind him, finishing in bronze, was Daniel Romanchuk, and he had a great Paralympic schedule. And so we were there, trackside, and as he came over to me to talk with me about the race, he handed me a flag. That was the one he had celebrated with. But then after the race was over, he left. He forgot the flag. So I brought the flag back to Dallas with me, and I actually brought the flag with me to New York, because just in case he does something special here at the finish line, I'm going to give it to him. Or maybe his mom, who I met in the lobby of the hotel the other day. She's so excited about his performance. So Romanchuk, if you do well here, or even if you don't, doesn't matter. I got to give you this flag back. You earned it there in the Tokyo Paralympic Games, and it should be yours. So
yes,
I've got this tucked away in my bag, John.
Listen, what a wonderful keepsake, and I'm sure he will be delighted to see you when he gets done, win or lose, and have that back and add that to his collection. And there you see Nijhuis still out there, the pack engaged behind him.
And then we have Augustin Choge. He's the guy that is actually starting to follow Bekele now. Augustin Choge, he's a racer. He likes to race, and he's actually just behind Bekele. That is a smart move. That is exactly what his can be. If I was to tell Augustin Choge to do something, is to follow somebody like Bekele. So that is a smart one there, as I can see now developing.
But Choge's had a different, lead up to the marathon. He's tried a couple, hasn't finished them. He ran 12:57 when he was, a teenager. And he hasn't quite gotten the 26.2. Why do you think that is?
I think it is basically the way you prepare. I think some of these athletes just do too much, and I think that is when the body breaks down. And I think that was the case with Augustin Choge, because I was in the same camp with him as with that same agent.
Well, right now Nijhuis is out there, and he's running like people chasing him, and they are. And among those, Abdi Nagaye, Olympic silver medalist, is there. Kibiwott Kandier, the half marathon world record. Guy ran 57 in bits. It's crazy. He's going the full distance today. And Ben True, one of the best American distance runners of the last decade. It's a deep men's field, and it'll be great to watch over the coming miles here at the TCS New York City Marathon.
This is what the Bronx feels like, looks like.
Back here at the TCS New York City Marathon, and the man out there wheeling alone, is Marcel Hu, who is in dominant form. 6 of the last 7 races here have been decided by a second. That cat's ahead by 5 minutes right now.
Well, he's been on fire. Yeah. Over a 5-minute lead on Weir. And you know what? He has a new chair, but he has been racing so well over all of these races. You know, he did finish runner-up in Chicago, but he did come back 24 hours later and win by 15 minutes in Boston.
Yeah, and he's putting a beat down on there as well as 2021. Won the Paralympics in Tokyo. He's won in Berlin. He's won in London. He's won in Boston. Second in Chicago. He seems to maybe get that out of the system when he won in Boston. And he is out there. And listen, he's out there alone, but the quality of the field is not. David Weir is terrific. Daniel Romanchuk, twice the defending champion, is terrific, and he is just putting it on them. In fact, at this point, rather than trying to beat the field, he's out there chasing now history in the course record by Kurt Fernley, who went into the New York Roadrunners Hall of Fame this year, the class of 2021, but 129.22 is the course record, and he is trying to chase that thing down as we get ready and come through to Central Park. I mean, he is wiping out the field right now.
You know, we've seen him just dominate for so long, but he's had such a cool head. Not only has he won here 3 times, he was second the last 2 times, and that does not sit well with him. You know, when he lays his head down at night and he knows he's been beaten 2 times here, but he's won here 3 times, he wants to come back and stand on the top spot of the podium.
Well, he's coming. He is in the park. He is the silver bullet, and we can turn around and see him come through. Marcel Hu get another major victory, his 23rd, and he is a champion in the 50th running of the TCS New York City Marathon. At least he looks spent, right? Like, there's a guy that has put out full effort and is exhausted for what he's taken care of, but he is unmistakable in his chair, unmistakable in his helmet, and unmistakable in his talent.
You wonder what the break will be like for these guys now. I mean, just such an emotional roller coaster ride that they've been on, having to be up, do all these races. You know, the Paralympic Games were just, what, 11 weeks ago. Then they did all the majors. Now they can just breathe and have some fun in, like, the best city in the world.
Right, and then also, like, I wonder sometimes, like, what comes into somebody's mind right now. As soon as you break it like that, are you thinking of what is next? I think these guys, like, they're competitors, and, you know, they deserve it, and I guess once they come back, you know, they're going to do a great job. Okay, because once you win, and it's really special.
The champion forever. He wins his 4th TCS New York City Marathon and does it in blowout time by more than 5 minutes. We're back to look at the professional men's and women's race, and we've packed up a little bit there on the right, Bernard, with the men.
Right. Bekele here is kind of like testing out how everybody's doing, because when you see Nijhaus just gets into the front, he did not panic. He knew that guy is going to be able to catch it. And this is where the race is actually settling right now, is they're not going too fast, but they're going to get it later on. And so Bekele, what he's doing right now here with everybody in it, the K is tucked in, very nice. He knows how to run it. He ran like that in Tokyo. We have Augustin Choget, the same thing. He's just tucked in there, biding his time and waiting to see what Bekele is going to do next.
If you were to forecast this, because everybody's running along comfortably now, given that we've had a lot of these racers with some quick turnarounds, whether it was 13 weeks ago in Paris, Bekele 6 weeks ago in Berlin, do we see this like we're going to go 18, 20, 22 miles before the races engage, or do we go farther down before we, along the trail, before we finally decide that, all right, now we're racing? We're running right now. When are we going to race?
I think these guys are going to start racing once after that First Avenue. When you get into the 22nd mile, I mean the 20th mile, that's where they're going to push that part, because that's when you come to Central Park. That is the most challenging part of the race, especially when your legs are not feeling stressed and fresh. So that is Bekele, and everybody is going to wait. So that's where we're going to see a lot of all these top athletes push, and that's what we do also in practice as well.
On the left, you see the women's professional racers that are out there, who you don't see in the elite group, but it's certainly a name you know, and who's been up there, is Shalane Flanagan. She's getting ready to start with this wave. Carrie, this is incredible. She got this crazy idea. Now that I'm retired from marathoning, what I'd like to do is run 6 marathons in 6 weeks.
Woo. And she's done it all of them fast, like 2:38 is her average. I know she's run 2:21, but 2:38 is legit.
And she'll run that again today, but she's gone through and she's run Berlin, she's run London virtually, so she ran in around the Portland area for Tokyo. Then she, on back-to-back days, ran Chicago and Boston. Both those were sub 2:45. She's fantastic, and she's part of the history of the 50th TCS New York City Marathon, and more history to be made today.
Can you feel that? It's
presented by Tata Consultancy Services. And so, Carrie, if you look at the women's difference between the pros and the field, we can run the same course, we can all compete together, but we have a difference in ability here for sure.
Well, we have different times. You can see that, you know. The estimated mile pace there is so interesting. 5:32 for the elites, 10:02 for the masses. And you know what? Now on the men, that's the men, excuse me, 10:02 for the masses and 4:53 for the elites. Listen, it is so fun to get outside and see all of the new runners since the pandemic. There's new walkers. We need to just keep moving, and that's what we're doing here today. And it is fun to see the gun go off with these amazing athletes in front of you in the mass.
And it sort of illustrates the point that the race is up front with the elites, but the actual marathon, the body and soul of it, is back there with the masses who are running. As we look at the women's elite racers, they come through right now, and Annie Frisbee still up there, Alex Seidel, and Olympic gold medalist Paris Chepchir is right there as well. 10 miles. I look at them, and because I don't have quite the discerning eye that you guys do, I mean, I can tell Molly has switched the tape on her knee from where she was in the Olympics, from the left side to the right side. But they all look comfortable to me. I don't know if you're in that pack. Can you read how other people are feeling?
I think you can read. A lot of these people have not run against each other. So, you know, they don't know their rhythms. I mean, Molly has raced now, Chepchir, so she knows her. But she's in the zone right now. She's thinking about what's going to happen now in the next 5-6 miles. When is it going to start to hurt? And, you know, Annie Frisbee has not... She's been in this territory, but she hasn't been past the halfway mark. So there's a lot of thoughts going on right now. You know, when you race, a lot of times you want to turn your brain off and just run. But this is not the time yet. You are thinking through, when's the next bottle, making sure you get all these things. So, and I also think that Annie Frisbee's probably thinking, oh my gosh, the Olympic gold medalist is on my shoulder.
Well, as you said, she's run the half once, and she's got 2 races at 10 miles. So she is really inexperienced when you push out here. I mean, you can train for the distance, and heck, anymore you can out-train the distance. But when you're in there, like you said, and you got the noise, and you're following the car, and you got these other people, whole different situation.
Whole different situation. One thing that's fun about Annie Frisbee and a lot of these athletes out there, and even Molly Seidel, she is talking about what they're doing besides running. Annie Frisbee is someone that's working. You know, she's got a side job besides just being a professional athlete. And it's really interesting to see the whole dynamic in there. Laura Thweet, we haven't talked much about her. She's tucked right back in. She's now volunteering. She's coaching. She's giving back. Just everyone has their own story, and it's fun to hear it.
And then also the most important part of it also is like a lot of these women who are running today are moms. They're home, they're working, and at the same time they have their own families, and so they're amazing. And so to have them do this, you know, they know this is what they do. They love running. Like what Stephanie Pooh said, you know, we don't have to do this. We get to do this, and that's amazing.
Looking at the TCS leaderboard update there on the men's side, and they're strung out a little bit. I think at this point, right, you kind of run to feel how comfortable you are. I don't know that anybody's particularly in trouble, and I don't know that anybody's particularly made a move here. Just some folks may be feeling a bit more spry than others.
I think the freshness also that you have, you know, you have all these shoes that are really good for you. We have the technology that is improving. All these athletes are just basically running in there knowing, well, we still have where to go. We still have long ways to go. So in their minds, if I was smart here, or an athlete that is really like thinking about where they're about to get into, especially the Queensboro Bridge, they're going to be like holding off a little bit because that is when the real racing starts. The strategy is going to kick in, and that is when everybody's going to be together. And so if you take out early, then you know you're going to be in safe spot.
Just a few seconds out there in front, Mohamed El Arabi of Morocco. He chases along and has his moment in the sun. Shade of the tall buildings. Still mile 7 early, as he said, so they come off the bridge, and then miles 2 through 12 are in Brooklyn. Back to the women's side. Do we have an update? How does Viola Cheptu-Lagat look to you right now?
You know, she is tucked in there, and my hands are a little sweaty, but I'm not supposed to actually, you know.
No cheering in the press box?
Yeah, we cannot do that, but
we can wave that for you.
Exactly, but you know, my hands are sweaty a little bit, but she's tucked in there. You can tell like she wants to just conserve as much as possible. That is also part of the advice that you're giving.
I was going to say, so the advice you would give her probably isn't any different than you give Candier, a first-timer.
Yes, it would be the same, and that's what I told Abinegi yesterday when we talked in the lobby of the hotel, that this is a different course. It's not Berlin, it's not Rotterdam where he ran so fast, national record of 2:06. This is New York City Marathon. You have to know the spots, know where you would be on your own at some point. Especially if you get into Bronx, you are on your own, and you have a lot of turns, then you turn into Central Park, and Fifth Avenue, where you're going to have, most of the time you'll be by yourself, and everything gets tough.
You know, one thing that I find so interesting, and you know, that's just evolution of the sport, but you know, we used to watch just marathoners race marathoners, and then we saw the half marathon really enter the sport and really kind of blow up what the marathon runners can do. You know, you kind of fine-tune your half marathon, then you run the marathon. Now we're seeing people like your sister who have run so well over 1,500 meters. People like Bekele out there, who obviously probably the best middle distance runner and distance runners ever. And then, you know, we're just seeing like Candier, someone that is the world record holder in the half, now dabbling in the marathon. There's such a huge talent field, but also the depth in distances.
Right.
Not just the half marathon and marathon. They're 1,500 meter runners now, like you, running the marathon.
Right, and I think it is basically that belief also. We used to see people like when they get a little older, they just go into the marathon. But we're having people that are young now running the marathon, and that's why you find some that are running 1,500, and they make the big jump into the marathon.
Plus, let's be honest, there's money to be made out on the roads, right? This race pays $100,000. There's also a $50,000 bonus for the 50th year if you break the course record. But there are a lot of races, and the money is good out there on the roads, and it's easier to find yourself in a road race than it is trying to find a lane on the track sometimes. There's only 8 or 9 out there. And, I mean, you can put more in a distance race, but I think that's part of the push that some of these people make that choice to go over, is because it can be financially a smart decision. So, wow, we've still got more than half a race to go. Terrific. 5 boroughs of New York City at the TCS New York City Marathon. Back with more after this on ESPN2.
The TCS New York City Marathon is brought to you by New Balance. We got now.
Some people think if they already had COVID-19.
It was not a great time in New York City. Crime was high, garbage was everywhere, and the city was bankrupt.
When Fred LeBeau came to him and said, Mr. Borough President, will you help me? I want to take the marathon out of Central Park and have it run all throughout Manhattan. And he said, no, that's not good. You can't do that. We're going to have it run all throughout New York City.
He saw the potential and the greatness that was New York and the New York City Marathon.
And then he went to Jack and Lou Rudin and said, will you, in honor of your dad, who's an avid runner, will you sponsor this? And as the Rudins will tell you, they said, we'll do it for 1 year.
And I'm sure the mayor didn't fully know what he had agreed to. Maybe we didn't either. He asked Ted Corbett, who was a master at measuring courses, to measure out a 26.2-mile course that at least touched on all the 5 boroughs.
Really, when you look back on it, it's kind of a passing of the torch.
Frank Shorter, an Olympic champion. Bill Rogers, the American record holder. Mickey Gorman, she had a lot of determination. She set the world record. We inducted her into our Hall of Fame along with Nina Cusick.
So when you think about legacy and think about laying the groundwork for the marathon in major urban markets, what Percy Sutton did and what Fred Lebow did set the groundwork for marathons globally.
And now it's 43 years that they've run through the 5 boroughs: New York, Staten Island, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, and Manhattan. It is the TCS New York City Marathon app. You want to get this? Download, connect through the official app powered by TCS. Track unlimited in-person and virtual runners. Send them a digital cheer card. Check out the real-time leaderboard. Explore the course map and augmented reality through the Marathon City 3D map so you can see the boroughs all for yourself. It's all in the TCS New York City Marathon app, now available in both the Apple and Google Play stores. This is not virtual. That's real racing as they are out there. And we've had a bit of a breakaway there, Bernard, in the men's race with the fine Italian runner, Yab Vanil, who's out there with the Moroccan runner. And they've gapped the field now by better than 15 seconds.
Yeah, Vanel, I mean, he's been running at good times, and El Arabi also. We are not short of great Moroccans who have come and run good marathons in the United States. So these guys here, I still believe they are actually overcommitting right now. This is where I should stay positive, I mean, calm and not to overcommit. But that is a race strategy that may work for them. But we will see later on. But I would say the guys like Korir right there running with the Army runner, Shadra Korir, these are the guys that are going to be going. But when we talk about Ayob Fanel, he's tucking in there nicely. I don't know really what his style of running is, but he's actually, you can see like he's so calm and great.
Well, great Italian runners in the history of this event. Orlando Pizzolato won in 84 and 85, Gianni Poli in 86, and Giacomo Leone in 1996. So there have been 4 Italian wins here by 3 guys all time. Now we go to the women's race, and we're going to go out to the roads and the best view in the house. Dina Castor, what do you have for us?
Wow, look at this international field of 11, and there are 5 Americans here. What an impressive day we're having so far for the USA. Leading the charge is American debutante Annie Frisbee, but don't discredit a debutante. Molly Seidel, in her debut at the marathon distance in the Olympic marathon trials, ended up making the Olympic team. So there's a lot of racing to be had. We're working our way to the Pulaski Bridge, which marks the halfway point, and from there, I think there's a lot more racing to come. Back to you.
Thank you, Dina Castor. Getting ready to come to the finish line in the women's wheelchair race, and that's your Paralympic champion, Madison Di Rosario, who has left the field behind. I think everybody thought that perhaps her win at in Japan, well, not flukish, was certainly a surprise, and now you got to validate and come back, and with Manuela Schar and Tatiana McFadden as the 2 greats, and to beat them again and to beat them on really their turf. This is her first race since Tokyo, coming from Australia. Madison Di Rosario, Staten Island, Central Park, and now she is going to win the race through New York and become the TCS New York City Marathon champion, won by a second in Tokyo, and much more room here in this one as she has her 2nd World Marathon Major Championship. A fantastic performance. She won in London in 2018 and now adds the New York City title as well to go with that Olympic gold medal. Like, that's a really good summer and fall if you're an athlete, to go gold medal and then win in New York.
I would say, I mean, you know, she's been at home kind of locked up and like a locked up, you know, animal. I mean, I've been that way too. I've been a locked up animal. I can say that because I know as an athlete that's that feeling. And she wanted to come here and prove that she belonged on top. And she did. Look at what she's done here today. What a great race.
She did, and actually did it in a good style as well.
Yeah.
So she just like took the work, did the work all the way, and just finished strong.
Yep, so she comes through, and just a reminder, if you want, as role models, young ladies, you can go. Mattel has an actual Shiro doll of Madison Di Rosario you can get. She's in her chair in her national kit, and it's really a phenomenal looking thing, and it's available. Not that I'm trying to, you know, make everybody's Christmas list. I'm just saying it's out there if you want it. Go out to the men's race, and Lewis Johnson is out there. Lewis, what, you only got 2 guys to watch? What's going on, man?
Well, actually, those 2 are in front of our vehicle, John, so I can't even see them. But I'm looking at this pack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We just passed another elite water stop, and so I saw everybody looking to grab their bottle to make sure they stayed hydrated. Everybody's successful there. And it's just really interesting, John, and the rest of you, to watch Kennedy Bekele, who knows the distance, but he doesn't know this race course. And so he has paid a lot of attention to his watch to see where he is in terms of his splits. He looks, again, comfortable. Again, he was holding the lead early and then relinquished it to others who are now ahead. And I thought the strategy that you guys talked about is very interesting, because maybe some of these other guys who are out there, this pack of 2, then 6, and then 3 behind, not sure how they're going to hold up out front. But Bekele, again, knows the distance, but again, it's the race course. Career always right there behind him on the step. And I'd be curious to know from Bernard, I'm amazed to watch a Career's gait. The left leg, he cannot straighten that leg out all the way. It's amazing, his incredible ability, but I'm looking at his mechanics, and it's awfully interesting. But Career very aware of everything Bekele is doing right here behind him, as the rest of these guys are. Candy right there as well. John?
All right, thank you, Lewis. And at some point, if we need you to, go ahead, speed up and catch the guys out front if you have to. See them out front. Now we're looking back. Where are the rest of the guys? You guys coming? We're here. They're 10 miles into this race, and now we have the second of the 5 waves for the people taking off back at Staten Island, Fort Wadsworth, over the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. Sinatra's getting a lot of play today.
This is so much fun to see everybody coming together. Yes, and a lot of people have been training for this for a long time. They train, they go out there, they work, and then they come back and do this. And this is a moment that you've been waiting for.
Well, since its inception in 2006, the TCS New York City Marathon official charity partner program has enabled runners to raise $350 million for causes they are passionate about: poverty relief, literacy, animal welfare. There are almost 500 official charity partners being represented here today. I believe the exact number is 490, including Team in Training, the original marathon charity, which since 1988 has raised $1.5 billion, $1.5 billion for cancer research and treatments. Of course, Team in Training was started in 1988 by Bruce Cleland, who assembled a group for the New York City Marathon to raise money in honor of his daughter, at the time a leukemia survivor. Cleland's efforts created the template of how to raise money for charity through running, not just here, but in any race that you come to. Sadly, he lost his own battle with cancer earlier this year. He died at the age of 73, but he leaves a remarkable and impactful legacy as Team in Training continues to thrive. Back here on the TCS New York City Marathon, and time again for TCS Stats presented by Tata Consultancy Services. Look at the pro paces as we look at the course records here in New York City. Of course, on the men's side, 2:05:06 run by Jeffrey Mutai in 2011, and 2:22:31 in the women's division by Margaret Okoye. Let's go out to Dina Castor with our leaders in the women's race. Dina?
The streets are heating up here. The crowds are getting thicker along the roadways, and the lead has definitely not changed yet. You've got all your main players there, but it's debutante Annie Frisbee that is leading the charge. Harris Depchircher, our Olympic champion, the fastest in the field, is there. Molly Seidel, the bronze medalist from the Tokyo Olympics. Rudy Aga, we haven't talked about too much, from Ethiopia. She's the second fastest in the field. She was third in New York City in 2019, won Tokyo that same year. She's definitely one to watch, as well as Abebel Yeshina from Ethiopia, the former world record holder in the half marathon. So there is a hot field out here, and again, I think that some moves are going to be made in the next few months. Back to you.
Dina Castor out there on one of our motos. Lewis Johnson as well, 26.2 miles this course. stretching through some of the city's most vibrant neighborhoods, and no one knows New York like our colleagues here at WABC New York, the reporters who cover the city day in, day out. We bring them in now happily. Kimberly Richardson, Michelle Charlesworth, Anthony Johnson. We'll start with Brooklyn with Kimberly. We'll talk now because once they get there running, I'm not sure we're going to be able to hear you. That's how loud it is. I don't know that she can hear me right yet. Wait till they come down Thunder Alley. Kimberly Richardson. We'll get back to her momentarily. As Kip, they're up on the bridge, man, and it's quiet up there.
It's quiet, and that is where sometimes you're on your own.
Yeah.
And the good thing is you're with other people, and one of the things that you have to realize here is you're running more on the concrete, not the pavement, not the planting. And so this is where you can start feeling it a little bit. And so, but right now, when you have a big group like this, that is where you have to use them a lot, because soon you're going to get onto the Thunder Island, and that is, Thunder Alley, which is going to be fun and fast.
Yeah, if you get down there on First Avenue, and it's just such a striking difference because it's so loud. I always say it's like everybody's been to a finish line, right? You see the last 80 yards or 80 meters and people are cheering. Like New York City is like a 26-mile finish line. It's that loud the entire way, which is incredible. And now you get here, and all of a sudden you can hear feet steps, and you can hear your heartbeat, and you hear other people's breathing, and it can be telling.
Yeah, and you can see even Molly Seidel, she's looking around. You just saw her look around. She's kind of evaluating other people now. Okay, now we see Paris Jepchirchir kind of pushing the pace. That's what I think Molly was probably waiting for. Like, when are these athletes? And she even said it the other day. I was talking to her. She said, I study this sport. I know exactly what these athletes have done. When Paris Jepchirchir and Bridget Kosgei were in front of her at the Olympics, she said, I knew everything that they had done. And I thought to myself, am I really running with these guys? Oh, yeah, she is. And she belongs up there.
And she did say that she hasn't winning that medal and her success so far. She says, I still have my doubts, and it's raised my confidence, but more than anything is I do know I belong.
Yeah.
Which is really part of the process. At some point we go, okay, I should be in this group, and that's a big step to take sometimes.
I think that's huge. She does belong there, but for you to believe it and not think it was a fluke, I mean, Molly Seidel's been good for so long. We saw her win the Foot Locker championships when she was in high school. That's the national championships here in the States. Then we also saw her win the NCAA championships early on in her college career. Then she had some ups and downs with some injuries and, like you said, some other issues that she's dealt with in life. And then she came back here and she started this marathoning thing, right? She said John Green, her coach, was the one she needs to credit for. And she started, and she has been killing it every single time. But now at that international stage, when she goes home and looks at that medal that she so jokingly said, yeah, this is my medal,
right,
in that piece, now she really believes that she belongs there. And, it's nice to see her kind of evaluating how things are going out there.
And it's good actually for the process as well, that you believe in that process. It's going to work really well for you. You always do the work, and by the time you run out over there, you see a lot of people feel like, that was a surprise. But within you, you want the mileage that you put, the work you did every single day. Some of these people, these athletes, they run 25 miles, long runs. They prepare for this, and that's why they are ready now. So when you come in there, knowing the work you've done, that's fantastic.
I'm just being quiet so you know what the bridge sounds like. Right? Because that's what they have. As they cross that Queensboro Bridge, they will come down, and they go to Manhattan twice. This is the first time. And they go down First Avenue, Thunder Alley, and they run, that's about a 5K. I guess we'll touch on this a bit more when they come down, because it's a tricky spot to get down there and run, because you really just want to open it up and go. And the people are wanting you to go. They're pushing you. They're begging you. They're inviting you to go. And you know you shouldn't. And you know what? Bernard Lagat went anyway.
I did. I went against my own advice that I told myself, okay, be careful here. When everybody wants to go, don't go. But I heard the people reading the names. They have their name. They know, as if everybody knows you, because they read your name and they cheer you so loud. We are going to hear right now what it's going to be like. This is a long hill. Like, it is really long, and it feels that way. And once you get out of that, you get almost like, oh, I just finished something hard. Now the fun part starts.
Okay, I'm going to relate a personal story because I've walked down 6th Avenue with you two guys yesterday, and everybody knows your name there too. So I don't know if it's that big a deal, right? It is for the masses. That's part of the things. I don't know if people know that. You write your name on your jersey, and then people will yell at you, "Way to go, Carrie! Way to go, John!"
But this was kind of where we would all sit and watch Mary Keitany.
Yes.
Like, is she going to come off the bridge and just hammer? Is she going to sit? You know, she was that legendary woman that ran every which way here in New York City, and she was always on the podium. I believe she was on the podium 8 times. So, you know, but this is that spot right here. It's kind of like, what's going to happen next?
Right. 4 times the champion here, and now retired, living her best life. We'll see if she retires like Meb and Shalane and just runs even more marathons. TCS New York City Marathon continues right after this. Stay with us.
Can you feel that?
And we are back here at the TCS New York City Marathon, and I tell you what, if you ever get the chance to run in this crowd down 1st Avenue, you go like, I think I could get used to this running thing. It is an amazing experience, and even if you're tired, 16 miles in, you're not tired right here. This crowd will lift you up. Sometimes they lift you up too much, but it's an amazing stretch of road.
You can bet there's a lot of cheering for Molly right now. A lot of people know that name, but Laura Thweatt, she's having a different year this year. She moved away from her coach. She's now coaching herself. She said she had a little hiccup with her calf, but that's happened, and that's happened before some of her best races. So I don't know if she sort of liked it, you know, when you have a familiarity. Nobody likes an injury, but she knew how to deal with it. And she thinks she's in really good shape. She thinks she could have one of the best races of her life.
And she ran an amazing debut marathon here back in 2015 when she finished 7th in 2:28:23. She's kind of went through a little down part, but as you said, she's healthy and ready to go. And my goodness, what a showing through the first 16 miles by the American women.
And this is the area that you want. You want that lift, you want that boost. Somebody else is going to be cheering for you there. This is the area that actually a lot of people, they just tend to go a little too quick because of that, everybody's cheering for you. And one of the things that actually I wanted to point out is that these athletes, they do the work outside there. So a lot of people look at them and they know what have they done to get over here. It takes a lot of times that you don't take any vacations. You always have to do this. We are running economy also is very good as well here, as you can see how Laura Thweatt is just running mechanics is really good. They're so intact. All they have to think about is just go step by step and just run without these ladies.
Laura Thweatt said she wanted to feel like she belonged. That when she was 6th at the Olympic trials, she was really hoping to do a little bit better there, and she wants to be in this group where she knows she belongs. I love that. I think that's the big thing, is making sure that your confidence is there. She looks good today.
There's Jessica, tucked right in there, biding her time. She's not ready to race yet. She's running along. She's not ready to make the race, but believe me, she'll be there when the time comes. All right, we're going to go back and try this again with our WABC colleagues that we have sprinkled throughout the city: Kimberly Richardson, Michelle Charlesworth, and Anthony Johnson. Kimberly Richardson, hopefully you can hear me now there at mile 8.
I can. Oh, and mile 8, it is so great. I'm at 4th Avenue and Flatbush. Look at these runners. By the time they get to this part, they're a little less than 1/3 way through the course. I am at a tremendous intersection where the worlds of sports and the arts collide. Right up the block, here's the Barclays Center. Of course, that's home to the Brooklyn Nets. Around the corner, the Brooklyn Academy of Music, where some of the best in the industry have performed. Right across the bridge from here, across the East River, about 8 miles from here, is my colleague Michelle Charlesworth at another spectacular point in the race. How's it going, Michelle?
All right. Oh, so good. I'll take your 8 and double it. We're at mile 16, just north of the Queensboro Bridge. You know, we've been talking a little bit about how it's loud and it's quiet. The Queensboro Bridge is so quiet, and they're just running quiet. They come into Manhattan, it's loud. They call this Thunder Alley, 1st Avenue. We're at 1st Avenue and 61st Street. You can see the crowd has lined up on both sides. Look over here. Look how many people are out here for the elite women, for the wheelchair athletes. Absolutely fantastic out here. A lot of energy that pulls them along. They're going to go another 3 miles up to to East Harlem. This is on the east side of Manhattan, up to East Harlem, and then to the Boogie Down where we find Anthony Johnson. What's going on, Anthony?
Hey, Michelle, the crowd is behind me. They're making a lot of noise out here. We are in that area, the 20-mile marker. This is where the runners have to really work to finish the rest of the race. I talked to a lot of them as they prepare for this race, and they tell me once they reach this 20-mile marker, this is when their mind and their body starts playing real tricks on them. So they have to work really hard to psychologically gear themselves up for the remaining 6.2 miles. We're here at the Willis Bridge. Not usually a very big crowd that comes out here, but they're a very loud crowd because they are in the Bronx, and this is that 1 mile that they'll do in the Bronx as they make their way through all 5 of the boroughs on this glorious Marathon Sunday. Back to you, John.
Thank you. Oh, it is the best day, New York City's best day, and our thanks to Kimberly Richardson and Michelle Charlesworth and Anthony Johnson out there on the course from WABC New York Women's Race. Molly Seidel right there. She's won. Also Paris Chepchicher. So it's like being in Sapporo. It's just without, you know, searing 90-degree heat and 90% humidity.
There she gave a little wave to the crowd. She's got to be careful here. She really has to be. We've been talking about it, but she does. She has to be careful here. You know, just a little uptick in your stride, a little bit of that energy that's wasted with waving to the crowd. I know this is kind of the end of the year for her. This is her celebration, but she is leading the New York City Marathon right now.
Right, but that's her, because she's kind of charismatic and she likes people, and so I can see where this fits her really well.
It does, but the marathon, every little extra bit of energy, you think you have it. You think, oh, I can do a little wave here and there. You just have to be super careful. And at this is when they're going to start throwing it down, as we're seeing. So she has to behave.
There you go. And at this point, there's Chepchicher. She's decided to go. We had kind of a pack of 8, and now that has splintered off. Actually, a pack of maybe 9. Then you get back in 10th to Sally Kipyego, the wonderful runner, but she's clearly still perhaps struggling from her effort, 17th at the Olympic Marathon in Tokyo. So she's dropped by. We have now 9, and then with Chepchicher leading the group away, and Seidel now Seidel is in 4th place, and we'll see if this thing's going to shake out here in the next mile or two. That would certainly be telling. So something to look forward to when we come back here at the TCS New York City Marathon, and we'll check on the large gap between the 2 in front of the men's group. When we come back, stay with us. Stuff's getting good right now.
This is what the Bronx feels like.
My name is Dick Traum, and in 1976, I became the first amputee to run a marathon. It was here in New York. And the Achilles Track Club was named, and it was a beautiful name because it had a double meaning. Achilles was a runner, but he also had a disability.
Our work to empower people with disabilities to experience that same sense of achievement and to join the start line, it's everything.
We started it, we had 6 people.
Today, Achilles has representation in 25 countries around the globe, including the United States.
The athletes who run with Achilles have such great role models in the professional wheelchair division.
The official wheelchair division began in 2000, and it started with very few athletes, no prize money, and then it grew and grew and grew, and today we're between 40 and 50 athletes in the wheelchair division.
It's really special if people see us racing, and that inspires them to get out there and move as well. And they're also just like the best supporters too. Tatiana, Josh George, Daniel. Daniel's so amazing. Getting to train and learn from them was a really, really great experience for me. Going out and doing a lot of mileage just kind of brings me peace and makes me really happy. Oh yeah, I think I'll be doing marathons my whole life.
And they are the first athletes that start every year here in New York City. The men's wheelchair results, Marcel Hoog better than David Weir and Daniel Romanchuk, who gives up his crown. Hoog, his 4th win here in New York, his 23rd major, and he is now standing by with our Sam Ryan. I think that's him. I can't recognize him, Sam, without the helmet.
Yeah, Marcel joining me right now, your TCS New York City Marathon champ, and a commanding victory. Already at the half, you had a 3-minute lead. How did you set yourself up for such a commanding lead?
Pardon?
How did you set yourself up for such a commanding lead already 3 minutes at the halfway mark?
I had no idea what the gap is. I just went hard as possible, fast as possible from the beginning. Had no idea what the gap is.
And that lead would double later on. What a year for you when you think about it. Berlin, London, Boston, New York City, 4 golds. How do you sum it up?
Yeah, it's really crazy. It was a really tough fall with all these marathons, with the Paralympics before and then all the marathons. But yeah, it's fantastic to win all these marathons, and especially now to be back here in New York, doing this great race, great marathon, in this great atmosphere. It's just amazing.
Marcel, congratulations. And guys, he told me he's going to take a 2-week break. Back to you.
2 weeks. I need to lay down for 2 months. It's going to take 2 weeks off. Fantastic run. We're up on the bridge, Bernard, and we have the 2 fellas that took off, and they've built that lead about 40-45 seconds. Am I panicked? I'm concerned. I'm worried. If I'm chasing?
I would be concerned if I'm chasing, because the thing is, those guys are strong athletes to begin with, and the chasers actually. But the good thing is that there are 3 of them, so I think they're working together. But we are seeing that gap going from 33 seconds to 46, so therefore it's actually increasing, and that's something that I would be concerned about.
So we have Career there, we have Cabet there, we have Candier, who we don't have in that pack.
Yeah, we don't have
Bekele, and we don't have Nagay.
We don't have Nagay in there, so those
They've dropped back,
and those are chasing the second lead, the second pack. But once you get disconnected, then that's becoming a problem as well.
Yeah, so we've got the runners up front, then we have this chase pack of just 3, and like I said, 2 of the bigger names we expected. Bekele, who ran 6 weeks ago in Berlin and said he had slept terribly, was tired, didn't run very well. And then you have Nagay, who has dropped back at this point, is about a minute back. And so you wonder if just how he has responded. He said his training went well. You still have to make that second exertion of effort, and that can certainly be difficult. All right, we've seen the men's champion. Now I want to hear from the women's champion. That is Madison Di Rosario, who I just find this remarkable. Not only did she win the Paralympic gold medal, but she went to her first Paralympics at age 14. 14! She's now 27. She's been doing this half her life, but she has a major marathon win in New York City. And back to Sam Ryan with the champ.
Yeah, John, and this was her first marathon major since Tokyo, since taking the gold in Tokyo. So what was key for you with that layoff?
Yeah, it was a bit of a gap. I was definitely planning on doing some of the other majors like Tatiana and Manuela did, but with Australia's restrictions, I could have gotten over to race, but I would not have been able to get back home. So we'd kind of written off all marathons for the rest of the year, and Australia's borders opened on November 1, and they managed to get me over here just in time.
We saw you taking the lead on the decline of the 59th Street Bridge, and then really on First Avenue. How much of it was the crowd, and what was key for you there?
I mean, the atmosphere here is unreal. It's definitely the best of all of the majors. But the gap opened up, and I think I just wanted to fight to keep it. I think coming down to a sprint finish with Tatiana and Manuela is one of the most terrifying things in a marathon. So I definitely wanted to avoid that. So when that gap opened up, yeah, I kind of just did everything I could to hold it.
And we should mention making history in doing so as the first woman from Australia to win the TCS New York City Marathon in the wheelchair division. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, John.
Thank you, Sam. And yeah, Manuela Schar and Tatiana McFadden have won 9 of the last 10 races. So Madison Di Rosario kind of cracks that twosome, makes a great name for herself after a great summer in Tokyo and now a fall here in New York. And there are our leaders, Ella Rabe and Fanil off the bridge, Bernard, and now on First Avenue. And we'll see how froggy they choose to get here.
All right, I think that is when these guys we're going to see maybe even faster. But you can see even they're communicating with Leo, because he was just pointing at them just coming back here, because I think he's feeling that he's about to drop, and he's basically trying to tell him to come over so they can help each other.
It comes at a good time too, right, for these guys, in case you're like, hear the people behind you, and here's a chance to give you a little jet fuel just coming from the spectators lining the course.
here. Helen Rodney was 11th at the Olympic Games, and he set the national record also now in the 20th at the Olympics as well. So those athletes are, they're fresh from the Olympics, but also you would think that the community and the league just support them, but they're running fast.
Yeah, Ella Robbie ran 2:12.22 at the Tokyo Olympic Marathon that was held in Sapporo, and then Fanil was 20th in Tokyo in 2:15.11. So both of them, listen, finishing that marathon was something. There were 103 starters there at the Olympic Marathon, 30 of them DNF, 73 guys made it to the finish line. As we now, Carrie, look at the women's race, and Chepchirchir is out there as expected, and she's dropped Molly Seidel and some of the other Americans we saw first through the first 16 miles are way back.
Yeah, now it becomes, you know, a race right now in this moment, a race between somebody that won the Olympic gold medal and then someone that wasn't there. So do we have someone that's coming off of the thrill of being #1, beating the world record, Bridget Kosgei, and, you know, seeing what Chepchirchir can do? But then do we look in the red kit or the orange kit and say, you know what, Yashana wasn't there. So is she fresh? She's got a 1:04.31 half marathon PR. I mean, she has the wheels. And, you know, I think that this is something that is going to be really interesting over the rest of the course. You know, Tokyo was or Sapporo, excuse me, was hot. It was humid. It takes a lot out of an athlete. And it also takes a lot of an emotional kind of, it's so fun to be the Olympic gold medalist, I'm assuming. You know, you're pretty close. Bernard, but it is very emotional coming off of that. She said that when she was back home in Kenya. Chepchirchir was sought after, and she needed to just get back to training, but she had things to do.
I think the smart thing to do is basically realizing I'm going to block everything else and then be serious about what I'm about to do. And also, you know, I tend to analyze mechanics as people run. And so I'm just looking at Yashana really relaxed. And even though Chepchirchir is also distinct.
There you see them in front, you kind of count to yourself how far back they are, and then you see back into Brooklyn and the masses there. Take a look at what's coming up here on ESPN. College basketball season going to get started. Kansas State, Michigan, Kansas and Michigan State. Excellent game coming at 7. Kentucky and Duke 9:30 there in the State Farm Championship Classic. That's Tuesday on ESPN. That's right, it's college basketball season already, but it's marathon day here in New York City.
Runners at the New York City Marathon, it's sort of like the old reliable. You look at that start list and you see where they're from, and just knowing the tradition, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with no matter what.
1987, Kenya's Ibrahim Hussein became the first champion from Africa. Ibrahim will be inducted in the New York Roadrunners Hall of Fame this year.
For a while, I think realistically, the Kenyans and East Africans generally were considered to be untouchable almost in the professional field. I mean, they just won so much and were just truly dominant and continue to be ascendant.
Jeffrey Mutai, we have never been in the race to be the fastest marathon. We say what matters is competition until Jeffrey Mutai blitzed the course, and suddenly we were the fastest marathon ever run in the United States. I think what's always been powerful from Tegla's run is often, especially the women, they have brought a message. And Tegla's was women deserve to be contributing members of society and have so much to add on the global stage to the world of sports, so the world of business. In Tegla's case, as a humanitarian in many ways, she lifted so many women through proving that she could run just like the men could. Or what I love about Mary Katani, from the first time I saw her run, fierce, gutsy, strong, and owns that. And I think, you know, again, that's what we need from women athletes.
Joined right now by Ibrahim Hussein. We just heard about the 1987 race. What do you remember about that day?
Thank you very much. I can still remember this at the finish line, coming up the Central Park and finishing here and being the first person from Africa to win that race. I mean, it was a wonderful, wonderful feeling. I'll never forget it.
Since that race, 17 runners from Kenya have won the New York City Marathon. At the time, did you realize the significance and the impact?
Yeah, you know, when I was, before I ran the marathon, I'd watched people run the marathon and I saw the outcome of winning that marathon, so I really wanted to come and win this marathon. You know, I was based in Albuquerque, and this marathon is like Hollywood, like making the stars, you know. So I wanted to be that star, and my dream was to come here and win it. So 1987, when I won it, I really fulfilled my dream.
And inducted into the New York Roadrunners Hall of Fame just Friday night. Congratulations to you guys. Let's send it back to you.
Thank you, Sam. And sadly, there is a great Kenyan runner who will not be able to join that long legacy of terrific Kenyan runners here in New York City last month. That running community was shocked, horrified to learn of the murder of Kenyan distance running star Agnes Tirop. She was just 25. Olympian who set a world record in the road 10K in September. She was found stabbed to death mid-October in her home in western Kenya. Her husband was later arrested for the killing, and she has been dearly missed by the running community, Carrie.
Yeah, and a lot of the athletes out there today are remembering her with this patch and running for her. And, you know, Kip, you know better than anybody what that means.
So it is really sad situation to lose a young star, a rising star like Agnes Tirop. My sister, for example, and all the women runners in Kenya, they have been voicing their concerns. They have been urging the government to protect women and girls and to end that gender discrimination and to protect them from harm. And so that is activism in itself. And I think what they are doing right now here is sending a message that the women in Kenya and all over the world need to be protected.
And she spoke at that funeral, and we look at the leaders of the women's open division, and lo and behold, there she is. I don't know where she came from, right? She was not there all of a sudden, you know, but she's made a push and finds herself right there in the lead as we approach the 22nd mile.
She had a little bit of nervousness, and I told her, hey, listen, be careful when it comes to not overcommitting too early. Use the fueling stations, and I think also she's running for Agnes Tirop as well.
Well, those three will certainly be worth keeping an eye on, as that is the field right there. They've dropped Molly Huddle, and those three will be the ones that take it here into Central Park on the men's side. Lewis, the gap is gone. What do you got?
The gap is gone big time, and the Queensboro Bridge is where it happened, John. I mean, that was the first real moment of truth for everybody. The pack of 7 had fractured once, gotten back together, and that's when it really exploded. And we saw these two leaders now, Career and Candy, really began to take the lead. Mekinen in the orange shorts is now completely out of view. And of course, Kenenisa Bekele, who's running his first New York City Marathon, is way back there. So First Avenue really was that big shot of that big energy that I heard everybody talking about. We really felt it here as we passed by. But now we've got it down to Career and Candy. And Vanille is here, and Arabi is back, of course. And if I had to look, I'm literally 6 feet away, so I'm socially distanced. It's okay. I've got to say that Candy there's something about Candy when he looks comfortable, relaxed. Career is always looking around. Even earlier, look back to see where Bekele was. But Candy right now looks awfully comfortable. But here is your lead pack as we continue to move down First Ave. John?
And if you're looking for precedent here in terms of half marathon, look how great Jeffrey Kamworwar has done, winning here twice, and he came off being a spectacular half miler. Go back to the women's race. Dina, you've got a group of 3 there you're keeping your eye on.
Wow, and you know, Viola Cheptegei of Kenya in her debut has looked the best the entire distance so far. And Pip in the booth, I can only imagine how you guys shared your Olympic experiences together in 2016 in Rio, and now you're sharing this New York experience together in your different roles here, racing and commentating, and how special that must be. But with her, she's got some stiff competition in Abel Yeshina, the former world record holder in the half marathon. In doing my research for this race, I saw that the half marathon world record progression in the past 5 years, it has been broken 10 times. Paris Gipchirchir in 2017 broke the world record in the half marathon. It was broken 3 more times before Abel Yeshina, right here on your screen, lowered that record. Here's Gipchirchir, took that time back in September of 2020. So what an incredible time we are in distance running. And then, of course, Paris herself. On paper, she's the favorite, but never in the history of 50 years has this event had the Olympic champion come back to win this race. So she has that against her, but she also has a personal winning streak. 2 years she has not lost a race. So a few more miles will tell the rest of this story, but right now all three of these women have what it takes to make it to that finish line first. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Dina. Terrific update. Yeah, Chepchirchir hasn't lost really in about 2 years as she's gone through here, and it hasn't been since 1972 that an Olympic champion turned around and won a fall marathon. That was Frank Shorter that went to Japan after winning in Munich back in 1972. So there you see it. Women on the left, that pack of three, and the men now, we've had the big pass, and they're stringing themselves a little bit, stringing themselves out a little bit. And Kip, again, back to this half marathoners converting, and Jeffrey Commemorate, who is the beast and has won here twice, but he came off very much the same pedigree, the same sort of track and trajectory that we're seeing here for Candier.
Yes, there's usually this thing that you run half marathon and you look at your time like, what if I just like double that? You know, that is usually not what happens, but it gives you more confidence. And these guys who are shorter distance to begin with, half marathons, and then they go into the marathon, they feel comfortable when they make that push because it's all about training and believing they can make it.
Think about that, though. If you run 57, if you run 67 coming back, you still run 2:04.
Absolutely.
It's remarkable. Carrie, what do we got here on the front three that you see?
Well, I just wanted to say that you were talking about Chepchirchir maybe making history here by winning New York City, winning the Olympic gold. That's what she likes. And also on the men's side, Albert Carrier, he did the exact same thing in 2019. At this spot, at mile 19, he was the one leading Jeffrey Commemorate. So, you know what? These are exciting times right now. We are at that time in the race where things start to happen. And, you know, I think that when we go back and look at what happened in Sapporo with Chepchirchir, this is where she started to make her move. She started to lead Bridget Kosgei, and she really was excited about that. But this is the thing I keep thinking about. That girl next to her, that woman next to her, Jep 2, she said she wanted to be on the podium because none of her brothers have ever been there at a major.
Wow!
Bernard,
yes,
come on. We don't have much left of this race. She might do that today.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, my sister, and by the way, when it comes to the names, Chepto, she was born when they were guests at home, and then Chepchirchir, on the other hand, was born faster. Chepchirchir for a woman, Kipchirchir for a boy, and I'm also a Kipchirchir. So those are the definition of the names.
Well, the women are coming down to the last 5K, and today's marathon, not the only race in town this weekend. You had the Abbott Dash to the finish, line 5K. Doubled as the USATF 5K championships took place yesterday, and literally the men's race ended up being a dash to the finish when it came down to it, right? 5K, so it's what, 3.1 miles, and it went down to the last 100 with Drew Hunter coming through the tape quick in the sprint.
You know, Drew Hunter has been wanting to be back on top. He's had so many injuries and so many ups and downs. He's standing right next to Matt Centrowitz, a gold medalist in the 1,500 meters. But look at this. Look at this stat right here. They're all 13:53. That's because they all came across the line. Boom, 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 boom. And it was such an exciting day. But Wayne Kaladi on the women's side, she started right from the gut. She took off. You know, she's having a great season. She's been so good at the high school level, so good at the NCAA level. And now in her first year as a pro, she's a USATF champion.
Yeah, the guys waited to sprint and dash at the end, and Kaladi went and did it out front. She's a terrific runner. She was at New Mexico and just got her American citizenship. And then Grace Barnett second, Erica Kemp finishing in third. It's the USATF 5K championship, the Abbott Dash to the finish line 5K. Abby ran over here. What'd you run, 2010? Our writer, Abby ran 2010. That was great. Good for her. Anderson was a DNS. When we come back, more from the 50th TCS New York City Marathon. Stay with us here on ESPN2 and WABC New York.
Can you feel that?
It's the TCS New York City Marathon app. Download, connect through the official app powered by TCS. Tata Consultancy Services track unlimited in-person and virtual runners. Send them a digital cheer card. Check out the real-time leaderboard. Explore the course map in augmented reality through the Marathon City 3D map, which is it's all in the TCS New York City Marathon app, now available in both the Apple and Google Play stores. Out on the roads, and you see now what was 2 in front and 2 chasing. Then we had a pass, and now we have Kimiwat Candier all by himself.
So this is the race that you cannot, this course, you cannot overcome it. And what we also the athletes going
excuse me, is that Career that jumped in front?
No,
My bad.
Sorry,
My bad.
Career is ahead. And so you cannot overcommit in this race. So you have to wait yourself, wait your time. And so when Ayub and just and Larabi just took over, they were composed. They were holding together, Candia and Career. And look at this now. They are ready to. He's ready to just take off, and he's already doing that.
So he was second here in 2019. This guy is really, he's really sort of a marathon guy. You don't see him even run a 10K. He's run a half, but mostly he trains and runs for the 26.2 miles.
Right, and
which is unique.
Yes, and that's what even Lewis Johnson was talking about. He has a different running style, and you would think that running style is kind of shows that really some running styles can actually win a marathon. And look at that, he's so composed, not using too much energy right now. He's looking back. I don't know what he's thinking, but he's saying, hey, listen, I'm just going to create a big gap, because he knows 57 minutes for half marathon for Gandia might catch him later on. And so he's looking backwards, looking at that and thinking about it.
So he's kind of made his commitment here.
Yes, he has made his
commitment. We will either make it to the line or we'll get gassed and somebody will get us. But he's done toying with anybody else.
Yes, he's having nightmares from 2019 too, I'm sure, because he let that fast half marathoner commemorate sit with him. And this is exactly what he did. He had to push the pace early on, and he looked good. But now he's starting to look back. So I don't know. I always have to make note of that. Yeah, on the women's side, though, I just am wondering what is going on between this conversation. You and I, we were saying they're just talking so much between the two of them.
I think now they're using their Nandi language, talking about, all right, what are we going to do now? And now, most likely they're talking about the other competitor, Yashane, saying, hey, listen, let's be careful, let's work together so that we can at least work together and make sure that we just drop her later on. So my sister, I told her about Fifth Avenue, and when you get to the 23rd mile, be careful there. If you lead and you're feeling strong right there, then you just the rest 2 miles is going to be easier for you. And so I guess that's what they're communicating with Chep Chifchi.
So they've got about a 5K to go. Their last 5K was the fastest they've run so far. That split was 16:32. So they've gotten a little giddy up as you see the TCS leaderboard there. It's pretty easy to see 1, 2, 3 right there in front. Chep 2, Chepchir, and Yashana. Back down to where the folks that will not run 2:10 or 2:30 are. I want to tell you that was less than 2 years ago. The 25-year-old unarmed black man went for a run in Glynn County, Georgia. Did not make it home alive. An upcoming documentary looks at those who are still running and pursuing justice on Ahmaud's behalf. Going on around the city as the unifying spirit of the marathon takes over New York. On Thursday night, it was the ceremonial painting of the 26.2-mile blue line, which traces the course from the start in Staten Island through all 5 boroughs to the finish line in famed Central Park. Then on Friday afternoon, kids from the Rising New York Roadrunners program got to mix it up with some Olympic medalists, Shalane Flanagan, Meb Keflezighi, Jenny Simpson, for the annual 1-mile TCS Run with Champions. And on Friday evening, this year's inductees into the New York Roadrunners Hall of Fame, plus several finishers from the first New York City Marathon in 1970, were honored at the marathon opening ceremony presented by United Airlines, the official kickoff to the 50th New York City Marathon. Time again for TCS Stats presented by Tata Consultancy Services. Just kind of look at how we've improved in the marathon over the last 50 years since they started in 1971, the first women's finisher, and then the men's. We saw Gary Burka, who averaged 5:47, and the course record every week. I took a full minute off that when he went.
Well, we've talked a lot about it, not so much us three here, but in the running world, the new technology, and just even with watches and shoes, and having things that we can watch to kind of use to train against each other. But yeah, it's definitely a really cool thing to watch the evolution of running.
Right, especially, and also they believe that we can run against anybody. So we have the technology, the shoes technology, the foam, the carbon fiber. We increase our running economy, and also making sure that we get recovered so fast. So that's why these athletes running 90 days throughout the Olympics, coming back here, the recovery. That is what the technology is all about.
A lot of great runners, but I know a lot of great TCS New York City Marathon, the golden edition, the 50th. As we're getting ready, the women to Central Park and the finish line. That's coming up. Stay with us.
Can you feel that? It's that New York energy. We feel that energy all over the world. In fact, it's what brings us to this little piece of land and its 5 boroughs to run the biggest, baddest marathon there is. It'll probably be tough, but then you'll feel that energy reminding you that in this race, in this city, we don't stop until we get where we're going. It's the world's biggest marathon. You can't miss it.
Ready?
Ready. The Christmas Spectacular returns this holiday season now through January 2nd.
This week on FanDuel Sportsbook, we're offering an exclusive odds boost to new customers. So you can turn
I like those odds.
Into
I love those odds.
And Lil Dubs into Big Dubs. But it's only happening now on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
You're cleaning this up.
New customers get exclusive 30-to-1 odds on the Packers or Chiefs. Bet $5 to win $150.
Here we go.
1 week.
7 days. Dozens of concerts.
Thousands of country music fans. And me.
1 week in the life of country music stars. You won't believe what our cameras will catch.
This Monday night at 10/9 Central on ABC.
Rod Dixon, who's from New Zealand, he was winning the race, crosses the finish line and just raises his arms in the greatest show of triumph. Herman Silva, he's running down Central Park South and makes an early turn, and people started yelling at him, and then he realizes, oh my God, I've made the wrong turn, and he turned around and he turned on the jets. He overtakes Ben Paredes, and he wins the race by 2 seconds.
Norway's Grete Waitz is the only woman to have won 9 titles.
One of the best finishes was Kurt, actually, and Marcel Hoog. Marcel Hoog is also very well known. Several years back, when Kurt and he were coming up to the finish, they were just neck and neck. They came in really fast, and it was just at the very end, Marcel pulled ahead.
It was Meb who won in 2009.
Meb's win in 2009 was an incredible moment for so many people. For himself, it was the crowning moment after winning an Olympic medal, but I think there was just so much emotion behind it. A few months before the 2017 New York City Marathon, I wrote a story on Shalane Flanagan. Little did we know that she was going to end up winning that year's race. I'd known that there was this really long drought waiting for an American woman to be victorious in New York City again, and she did it, and it kind of revitalized her career, and she's still hitting the pavement pretty hard and running some pretty impressive times.
She won New York when she crossed the finish line, shrieking expletives, and just looked so proud of herself. I think all American women kind of felt a little bit like we were right there with her.
And we could be set up for a fantastic finish this year in the 50th edition of the TCS New York City Marathon. As you see the women's side, Paris Chepchirchir, Viola Cheptu, Abella Yashana, those 3. That is the race. We're not supposed to have a rooting favorite. One of us does. Kip, how you holding up, dude?
You know, I'm a little nervous, to be honest. And I think more than anything, I'm sweating. I need to throw away my coat. But yeah, she looks relaxed. I can see that she's looking forward now. She's not thinking about anything, but she keeps talking.
Yes,
you know, we've been talking about that.
But you know, she knows now what it's like to run in Central Park. She's run here for the 10K. She's run here for other races. She went to went to college here, so she knows what it's like to run in America. So this is exciting for her. What do you think she is saying this late in the race to the Olympic gold medalist?
I just feel like telling her. I mean, sorry, I think she's telling Chepchirchir, let's relax. let's relax.
Jeb Shakir's like, I got a gold medal. I'm totally relaxed. Right? Like, I've got it made.
And I think also, Yashina, on the other hand, is like, I'm going to use these Kenyans to remember there's that rivalry as well. Let's not forget about that. So these two Kenyans, and actually she's not doing work. She's actually drafting off them. Viola and, Kepto and Jeff Chirchir are doing the work.
So we're basically into the last mile. Who do I like as a miler here?
I think, Viola has 4:06 and so I would imagine that is something for the 1,500 meters. So I think she's going to be the one that might outkick everybody. But I may be biased, but also, I don't know. Yashina has a good speed also because of that fast half marathon.
Now, we saw Yashana about 2 miles back, kind of, trying to divide the two up front, try to push the pace a little bit. And then she's sort of reserved now to sit and be behind. And that's what I'm wondering. Is that now the ticket to get to the finish line first? Has she been able to sit back and let things unfold in front of her?
We get a last word from the bird's eye view. Tina Castor right there in the fight.
Viola Jepto, 1,500-meter Olympian turned marathoner, just like that. And Olympic champion Paris Jepchirchir of Kenya on their shoulder, right behind them. Yashina has not taken the lead the entire race. I am searching for a tell here. Yashina has made a few grimaces in the past mile, but she still has fight left in her. There is so much communicating going on with Team Kenya right here. And this race, we couldn't ask for a more exciting finish here. The podium has been established, but who is going to come on top? We yet to know.
It's going to be a sprint.
Yes.
And I do have goosebumps. I am so excited. This is, amazing. I can remember all the kicks that it comes down to, but this might be one of the tightest races we've seen here in the last few years.
Dina is also right, because I've seen also on Yashina a little bit of grimacing. I think that is when she is holding on tight to make sure that she's drafting off the leading two ladies. And so I think it's going to be an amazing finish. The speed is going to be like playing a factor here. So how much did you use all the way, 26 miles away, to actually getting you all the way to the finish line? There's a little bit of an incline, but you have to run fast.
Bernard, is she thinking, is your sister Viola right now thinking bragging rights, like I'm going to, she has it.
Oh, yes, he is for sure. My debut here in New York City, I think I was number 18.
Yeah.
And so with 2:7. Yes.
Here we go. Yep. Jeff Shakir has decided that she's had enough, and it's time for me to go. And if you can keep up, I'll be right here. But you're going to have to track me down. And she has really opened it up. And Shakira is really going. She has made a move. That is a gold medal move right there as they come into the final meters here through Central Park.
Have this one final uphill, and she's making her way home.
She has. And then Viola Cheptu second, and Ababo Yashana in third. Still coming, the crowd cheering. They've crossed 2:21. Got a chance to run something in 2:22, which is pretty sporty as you come through here, for sure. The course record being 2:21:31. Margaret Okoye.
Viola is not giving in now. One little check back, but Jepchirchir making history right here. If she could hold off, she will be the first to ever win a major and the Olympic gold medal.
200 meters to go.
But Viola is not giving up either.
Nope.
No.
He is close. But does she have enough real estate to get to her?
I think she might.
They have this one last little uphill. It is tough, but it's quick. Watch what happens here.
It's in the legs, but I tell you what, at this point, it can also be in the arms. Can you work those arms and drive it?
Oh, yeah.
She's coming through. I think she's going to hold her off. What a terrific race. A gold medal win, and now a golden anniversary victory. Paris Jepchirchir is the champion of the 2021 New York City Marathon. Viola Cheptu in second comes across the line, much to the delight of her brother Bernard Lagat in the third spot on the podium. Ababo Yashana in third from Ethiopia. Those three women women raced a terrific battle, waged it. It was terrific to watch. Full effort. Just exhaustion, and now the exhilaration of accomplishment.
Bernard, she's coming to look over here. She can see right here. I'm wondering if she knows that you're sitting right here, tears in your eyes. Look at that.
I think we can just pound on the glass if you want to get her attention. I don't think anybody care, but
look at this right here.
There she's seen her brother.
She's seeing Bernard. Oh.
I got to work.
Oh my goodness, how emotional. Emotional for you. Listen, let's take another one. Paris Chepkacher is the boss in how she performed at the Olympics and now backed it up here 13 weeks later in New York City. But what an amazing moment to sit here and watch Bernard Lagat celebrate the runner-up finish by his sister. And there's Molly Seidel, who's coming through and is with the lead pack through 16 miles. And First Avenue got broken away a little bit through 17 and 18, but she's still going to come through and finish 4th place in her 4th marathon. Comes through the distance, acknowledging the crowd. She's become a fan favorite. Everybody knows who she is now. I'm not so sure a couple of indoor NCAA titles and cross-country titles, they're bona fides, but in terms of making you a household name in distance runnings, nothing can do that like running in a marathon and being an Olympic medalist. And there she is, Molly Seidel, 2:24:36-ish. She comes through, finishes her 4th marathon in 4th place. Really an outstanding run for her because, as you know, she was turned around and has not been 100% fit. So there were parts of her build-up she was not able to get in, but still said she felt good and was ready to race, and she certainly did that today in New York City.
And a phenomenal time, 2:24, new American course record. I don't have the exact time, but she is under Shalane's course record, so she is the fastest American ever here.
The previous 2:26:53, so she breaks that by 2 minutes. And here's Viola Cheptu coming across the line, and her brother Bernard Lagat watching. Didn't know that when you signed up for the job, did you? I didn't.
You know, I've been sweating this whole time, and I am such an athlete that I can't be wearing dress clothes because I'm sweating through it. And when I see a man like Bernard Lagat, 5-time Olympian, that has done so much for the sport and has given so much, to see the excitement you have for your little sister and to see the next generation of great marathoners right there, this has been a delight. It's so fun to see you.
Thank you so much, David. It's been fun.
The 28th victory by a runner from Kenya and the 20th different Kenyan champion here at the TCS New York City Marathon. So they have their national colors to display proudly as we go back on the course, because we still have to settle things in the men's race, which isn't going to be quite as an exciting finish. Albert Carrere is up by 28 seconds, and near as I can tell, I know everybody here in the group, but I don't know if the rest of you behind the scenes, I don't believe any of us are related to Albert Carrere.
I'm claiming him. I'll claim him.
But he is really, you know, and there's a guy that just his basic form always looks like he's struggling. Like he does not look like he's not a beautiful runner by any stretch of the imagination.
I always look at people, like I was setting up you earlier. I like to study the mechanics, how people run, but I would see that and I feel like he's going slow. But actually he's going fast. You know, he has already created the big gap, and that is his signature.
Well, he's about to have his signature victory. And listen, wherever he competes, and he's competed all over the world, 11 marathons in 10 different cities in 8 different countries. He's got 10 podium finishes. He's won 4. He's been second 4 times. He's been third twice. And the only, if you want to call it a dog race, was this year in 2021. He ran a marathon in Eldoret and was 10th. And that's the only thing that really he's run. He didn't race at all during the pandemic. And he ran, like I said, he ran a 2:13:53 in Eldoret. That's his worst finish, but you know, we don't know what was going on at that point. You know, if that's in the middle of training or doing something, or where his buildup was. But he has come through, and after being second in 2019, looks like he is going to be the man to wear the laurel wreath here the TCS New York City Marathon.
I think we can also see
who's about 17 seconds back.
Right, and so he is the one that was leading earlier, so he used up so much at the beginning. But then again, when Kanye and Korir just passed him, he was able to latch on them. He's running his own pace, and he passed Kanye again. So that is smart racer right there, and that is why he's being able to chase Korir. But Korir has already opened a gap.
And this will be by far his best finish in a World Marathon Major. He was 16th in Boston in 2019. He's finished 11th in 2018 in Chicago, 11th again in Tokyo 2018. He was 11th in Tokyo Sapporo at the Olympic Games here in August. So he's certainly a guy that has some bona fides, but this is running over his head from what we have seen from him in the past.
Right.
I mean, when you, though, finish that close to the top 10, he's 11th at the Olympic Games, you feel like you belong. He might have had some issues at the Olympic Games. He might have had the race of his life, but regardless, he was 11th at the Olympic Games, and he comes here with a lot on his mind. 17 seconds back right now. They still have some time. And Korir, to me, doesn't look quite as spunky as he did at mile 19 and 20. Obviously, he's getting further and further in the race, but yeah, I definitely want to hear what Lewis has to say because he's been watching him the entire time.
All right, Lewis, Gary wants to know what you have to say. You've been watching him the entire time. What do you have?
The original question is just amazing, John. Great job with that. I've been watching NYRR. He has just really been amazing to watch for sure. He has been a part of that pack that I mentioned before that was 7 that kind of came together, disappeared, and then came back into it. He has really been strong throughout the course, and you can just see the mental focus. There was a moment about 2 miles ago when he was trying to get his elite water bottle, and there were a pack of security bicycles that were approaching the table, and he got caught behind them. He screamed, they moved, and he was able to grab the bottle. And just imagine, in these last miles, how important it is to get the nutrition you need to be able to finish as strong as you can. And right now, NYRR is beginning to soak up the applause here as he approaches Central Park. But in his face, he is not excited about what he has already done. He hasn't shown that yet, I should say. But he has really been strong. And, of course, these crowds have just loved everybody. I heard a woman shout a few moments ago, "Welcome back to New York City," really signifying that this race is back in the 50th edition. It's been really special.
Well, he's a guy that will enjoy it. He's got a tremendous smile. He's got a little flair for him, a little showboat in him when he runs. And so he's going to have a chance to, they're going to keep it together, but soak in some of this atmosphere and get to enjoy that. You know, sometimes, I'm not so sure as the women's race was, you'd get to kind of enjoy the coronation of how that thing comes through, because you're still working really hard. In his case, I think he's going to get a chance to sort of enjoy the moment.
But it looks like also NYRR right now is looking forward, and he can see someone in front of that is Korir. He thinks I may actually maybe catch him, but you can say, you know, that is not a huge gap right now. It seems like he's closing the gap, but it's might be a little too late. But he is looking forward, wanting to do something here, which is to win. And so Korir, on the other hand, doesn't even have anybody pushing it, so he's just like on his own, and it's just going by just the pace that he has already given.
Korir just needs to hold it together. You can see he's checking his watch. He's like, when am I going to get home? You can see that his stride is really choppy now. He's not coming up the pavement very much anymore. But he needs to keep his eyes up. For a while there, we were watching him almost totally turn back and look to see what's going on behind him. He has to keep composed, use this crowd, use that energy, and also remember what he went through in 2019. He is our top returner coming back. He is fresh. He's just got to get to the finish line to break that tape.
Yeah, it's one of those cases when you're this close, that line doesn't seem to be getting any closer. You can't get there quick enough for him as he comes through and is being chased there by, we said, Mohamed El Arabi. What a special moment that would be if he could win from Morocco. Remember, they're still high over the Soufiane El Bakawei's win in the steeplechase at the Olympics, and so that was a great moment for him. He came back, I think, was it the 5 or the 10, and he got halfway through and said, you know what, I'll stick with this gold medal and call it good.
I would do the same thing.
But you know, that was terrific in Morocco. A great tradition of distance runners as well.
Absolutely, and with him, a lot of Moroccans come here to run. We have Khalid Koulibaly from Morocco as well, American citizen. He is American. Like, so we have a lot of the finish line. You know, I'm over here in Central Park. Why not? So I'm not going to lose right now.
Well, he has to use this downhill too, doesn't he? I mean, he was climbing.
Yes, he was climbing. Yes.
Turn and almost home. Almost, but that's a compliment. There you go. See that? That leads you to believe that he's got enough in the tank.
He does.
Bring me home, everybody.
I like the switch of the, of the gate and everything like that. Knowing that I'm just going to run through and win.
Albert Career. You know, you're only going to move up one spot in the podium, but there's a big difference between where you stand in first and second, is there not?
Yeah, we're talking about their CVs and their running resumes. Well, he's got a pretty good one.
But it's 35-second gap between him and Riley.
He is gaining on it. He's making that gap a little bit bigger.
23 seconds behind Jeffrey Commemorate back in 2019, and now he is out there by 35 seconds. And you see Mohamed El Arabi chasing. He's going to find his way onto the podium. And behind them, fighting for third, it looks like Yob Fanil is going to be able to hold on, the Italian runner. Quebec fourth from the U.S. If you're interested, Kinesia Bakile, who is currently standing in seventh. He's about 4 minutes off the pace from our champion as he gets ready to come through. Through all the exhaustion comes the elation of the achievement. Albert Career, first to break the tape here. He is the 2021 TCS New York City Marathon champion.
And we bring it more energy at the finish.
He was trying to prove us wrong. He was saving it for the finish.
Yeah, I don't ever buy that when we go. He looks like he could have run another mile. Forget it. That dude is happy he's done.
Yes.
I don't buy any other thing.
Yeah, only one marathon in 2019, and that was, or in 2020, excuse me, and that was at altitude. So, you know, he has got a lot of time to be in his own thoughts, to be in his own training, to think about what he wanted to do here today, and he really capitalized on it. He used the same strategy.
Yes.
Went at 19 and carried on.
Second across the line. Mohamed Al-Rami. Pleased, and he made a bold move early. You know, he went out there and made this race from the 10-mile mark. And he was able to hang on even after they got past. A lot of times you see that. The guys go by you and you're shut off and you just continue to put it in reverse and go backwards. But he showed a ton of fight to get up for second and stay there.
Right. And also after Korean left, and when he started passing Pandier, he was on his own for a while. So chasing from behind, which is always hard. And he was able to compose himself and be able to finish strong.
Coming through in third. Fanil is across the lane, across the line.
Following in his footsteps of his coach, Stefano Baldini, who was he had 4 top 10 finishes here. He's an Olympic gold medalist. I mean, obviously had great advice, but he went for it too. He pushed it hard.
Originally from Eritrea, now runs under the Italian colors. 20th at the Tokyo Olympic Games Marathon in 2015-11. So as much as we talk about people doubling back, and could they properly build up after 13 weeks, 91 days for the women, 90 for the men.
We're taking it full circle.
Chepchir comes through, gold medalist follows it up. Arabi and Fanil both ran and come through and improved their finish from where they were in the Olympic marathon.
You would have ever envisioned 50 years later.
That is Santana Kibet training in Colorado Springs under the U.S. Army program, WCAT. I know him very well. He trained in Kenya with me when I was training for Olympic trials. Great athlete. He's a fighter, always underdog.
The Army World Class program has really benefited some great runners that have come over here, right? There's Paul Chalimo originally in that program.
Was in there.
So Elkanan Kibet comes through, a pair of fourth-place finishes for the Americans. Molly Seidel and then Elkanan Kibet.
Elkanan became a U.S. citizen in 2013, but has had a really nice career over here. A lot of top 10 finishes in the USATF circuit. You know, he's a 2:11 guy. He ran it again today on a very tough course, so he must be pleased with that.
Running 2:11 in New York City Marathon.
Abdi Nagaye came through in the 5th position as he runs around 2:11.45. It's nice as they are across the line. How great is that? You win, and then there's the original winner, the 1970 winner, Gary Merck is there, and the first African winner as well. Look at Paris Cheptegei. A lovely day in Paris here in New York City as she comes through to win, and then Albert Career, who also won the hurdling event here at the TCS New York City Marathon. Terrific performances by our champs.
The TCS New York City Marathon is brought to you by Tata Consultancy Services, one of the world's top IT services and consulting firms.
Why do I do it?
The mission of the New York Roadrunners is to help and inspire people through running. Man, did they do that again this morning in the 50th edition of the TCS New York City Marathon. The women's result, Paris Cheptegei backs up her Olympic gold medal with a championship here in New York. Viola Cheptegei, Bernard Lagat's sister. Actually, you know what? Bernard Lagat is Viola Cheptegei's brother. That's what she is today. She is in second. Let's go to Sam Ryan in the champion.
Yeah, John, in Paris, making history, the first runner to win Olympic gold and then the TCS New York City Marathon. How do you sum up this historic moment for you?
First of all, I thank my God for the energy He has given me. I was not expecting, unbelievable. I thank God I finished the season well. After I win Olympic marathon, I was not expecting to win, but due to my preparation, I prepared well, so the time was short, but I try my best to make sure I complete my workouts, my preparations. So I'm so great. I'm so happy today in the city of New York. Yeah.
Also, your New York City Marathon debut, and you were telling me that this wasn't an easy course, and especially the uphill finish. You really pulled away there at the end, though. What was your thought process there?
I'm gonna say that the course is not bad, but it's not easy. Yeah, towards the finishing line, I feel something that I've never feel before to finish marathon. It's just a tough finishing line. Yeah, but I thank God. I get energy from where I don't know where that energy come from to keep for the last time, for the last minute. Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations to you, Paris. Let's send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Sam. And there are the men's results. Albert Career moves up one spot. 2019 when he was second to Jeffrey Moore. This time he is a champion with the Laurel Wreath. Robbie comes in second. A brilliant run from him because he was out there very early, Bernard. Benio, both those guys, Olympic performances, 11th and 20th, and they come through second and third here today. Where's the point you thought that Career made his mark and won this race?
I think he ran really well at the bridge, at Queensboro Bridge. That is where he made everything count. He attacked it very well, and once he was on the First Avenue, that is where he felt comfortable. He felt comfortable with the support of the fans, and also Fifth Avenue.
He had some little help there with Candier for a while to help him push along those two to catch the other two. All right, time to talk to another champion. It's Albert Career with Sam.
Albert, he was a second-place finisher here. We saw that emotional finish here. We saw you crossing the tape. Tell us about that and how exciting was that for you to finish first here?
I'm happy to win New York City Marathon 2021. It was not an easy race at start, but I enjoyed.
You looked like you were having fun there as you broke the tape there in the victory lap. It became a different race after the 59th Street Bridge. They were talking about First Avenue and really pulling away the 20-mile mark. What was the difference for you?
Better?
What was the difference for you late in the race in this?
The race was not so bad, but we tried to push. You know, this race is pacemakers are not there, so you have to do it on your own. But the race was just good. The weather was good, and we tried to push it. And I tried to push it at 30K. It was great.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, Albert Career, your TCS New York City Marathon champ.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. A great look down on the finish line here in Central Park. There are people that haven't started their wave yet, but they're still as eager and anxious as the people that just won championships to go ahead and get here to Central Park and claim that medal and say, I did it, I finished. There's 30,000 runners here, and there are 30,000 different stories and 30,000 different motivations when it comes through it. Let's talk about the elites. Let's talk about the champions. And the impressions and the things that will stay with you as we leave this booth here in 2021.
Well, Paris Jepchirchir, the way that she dominated those final meters, it wasn't even the final miles, for her to just almost have turbo in her and to take off. But then to see that amazing debutante, Viola Cheptu, be able to hang on and finish second, that was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing as well, to see even Albert Career, how we just ran so comfortably and just ran so well. And also my sister running well and just giving her best and running a personal best of 2:22.
What's the family doing tonight?
We're going to celebrate.
We're going to celebrate. Yes, we are. So there's the men's results one more time. Albert Career, 2:08.22. Very sporty to run around here on a beautiful day for racing. And then Paris Jepchirchir, 2:22.39 is the winning time. Just off there in fourth, Molly Huddle, who has a new American course record, breaking Kara Gouger's mark in New York.
Can you feel that?
Just legendary. The crowd support, the people running, the elite field.
The magic of this event has been more than 50 years in the making. Half a century ago, 127 hardcore distance runners set off on a 4-lap race of Central Park. The winner, an unassuming fireman named Gary Merca, could not have known in 1970 how many legendary champions, titans of the sport, would follow in his footsteps, or that New York would grow to be the biggest marathon in the world.
The history that these streets have seen and just the greats that have crossed this finish line.
The race was soon moved out of Central Park to the streets of the city. An unprecedented 5-borough tour that attracted the best runners on the planet and throngs of spectators who wanted to watch them.
I think there's nothing quite like it when you're 5 people deep in a crowd and everyone's screaming.
It's here where the fiercest champions have showcased their mettle, and where tens of thousands of athletes from every corner of the globe come together to conquer the unforgiving and extraordinary 26.2-mile course.
The whole race is challenging. The climbs, the descents, and the climbs again.
A half a century since this race's inception, it's more exciting, it's more inspiring, it's more magical than ever. This is the 50th running of the TCS New York City Marathon.
The world's greatest city is back.
The world's greatest marathon is back.
The world's greatest fans are back.
Continuing coverage of the 50th running of the TCS New York City Marathon. We just saw some compelling professional races, but the vast majority of the 30,000 runners are still out there on the course. Good Sunday morning to you. I'm Ryan Field alongside Sam Ryan, and I guess you could say our portmanteau is Sam Ryan Field.
I've never heard that before.
I had never heard that either, but it just rolls right off the tongue. We are thrilled to be back here with you today. It's been a whopping 735 days since the last TCS New York City Marathon, and after all the sadness and difficulties the pandemic has brought, along with the cancellation of the race last year, there's a real feeling of relief and gratitude today that this wonderful event, the biggest marathon in the world, is back.
packed.
It is, absolutely. You can really feel the good vibe out there today. You have all weekend, and it doesn't hurt that 4 incredible champions were crowned in the professional races just moments ago. Marcel Hoog of Switzerland, Madison de Rosario of Australia, utterly dominant in the wheelchair races. Albert Career of Kenya, we saw him as the runner-up last time we were here in 2019 by 23 seconds. He won the men's race easily today. And in the women's race, Paris Jepchirchir, the reigning Olympic gold medalist in the marathon, using a sprint finish, the uphill climb at Central Park to take the title today.
And once again, our wheelchair champion, Madison de Rosario. A big win for her today for the Australian. The 2-time gold medalist also won first.
She made history as well as the first Australian woman to win the wheelchair race in the TCS New York City Marathon. Marcel Hoog here, he's back to a first place finish for the first time since 2017 here, and he had such a strong year, winning Berlin, winning London, winning Boston, 4 golds at the Paralympics and New York City.
Congratulations to the 4 big winners, and congratulations to the thousands more still yet to finish on this wonderful marathon Sunday. And covering all 26.2 miles of this course are our colleagues here at Channel 7, Kimberly Richardson, Michelle Charlesworth, and Anthony Johnson. Good morning, everybody.
Ryan and Sam, I'm at mile 8. I'm at 4th Avenue in Flatbush. Let me tell you something. I know there may be fewer runners this year taking part in the marathon, but the spectators, it's like nothing I've seen before. Look at these folks here. They are out here. They've been out here all morning. It's probably the most spectators I've ever seen out here on the sideliners. I'm here again at Flatbush. Just up the street is the Barclay Center, of course, the home to the Brooklyn Nets. Around the corner, the Brooklyn Academy of Music, where some of the best and the best have performed. Across the East River, about 8 miles from here, is my colleague Michelle Charlesworth. What's happening there, Michelle?
Oh man, it is loud. It's loud. It's so quiet on the bridge, and then everybody comes into Manhattan, where of course this marathon ends. So they're all excited. NYPD, let's go! Keep it going. God bless New York. That was not planned. God bless New York is right, but what I was just gonna say is everybody's so pumped up. They come here and it gets loud. I mean, we got club music pumping. We got people, yes baby. We got people with signs up. Christian just came by. You see the people with signs? You guys, was it
My brother and sister-in-law.
Team Kristen, baby, all day. Come by. That's so much fun. So people are fired up. They're yelling and screaming. People have above their bib, if they're smart, their name, and everybody screams for them. So it's really beautiful. Anthony Johnson, you're 3 miles up. You're up in the boogie down in the Bronx. That way. Hey, Anthony.
Hey there, Michelle. Yes, indeed, we're watching the mass of runners starting to make their way through here. You know, you come through the Bronx, you make a left, then you make a right, you make another left, and then you're pretty much out of here. 1 mile, but this is the 20-mile marker in the race. And, of course, a lot of people come here, and they tell me this is the psychological moment. This is the time when the bodies are starting to give out, the brain wants to give out, but they continue to move on the next 6.2 miles. And we're watching all of these runners as they start to come down East 135th Street, making the turn here on Alexander Avenue. Not the big crowds expected out here as you have where Michelle was, where Kimberly may be, but I'll tell you what happens. A lot of people have come out here for years and years to be at this spot because they know they can find a perfect place to stand out here and cheer on the runners. And a lot of times you see the runners high-fiving people in this area right here too. This is a great spot to be, a great spot to watch this race on what is turned out to be a beautiful day for the 50th running of the New York City Marathon. John, back to you.
And I will take that. Thank you, Anthony, from the New Balance cheer zone in the Bronx. So much energy.
So much energy, so many folks still out there on the course. We are happy you're here with us for the whole thing. This is the 50th running of the TCS New York City Marathon right here on Channel 7.
The TCS New York City Marathon is sponsored.
App Download and connect through the official app powered by TCS. Track unlimited in-person and virtual runners. Send them a digital cheer card. Check out the real-time leaderboard and explore the course map in augmented reality through the Marathon City 3D map. It's all on the TCS New York City Marathon app, now available in both the Apple and Google Play stores.
We have some familiar faces out there on the course on the 50th running of the TCS New York City Marathon as we take a look at Manhattan, one of the 5 boroughs celebrity runners. And you see some familiar faces in the past. Will Ferrell has run this, Katie Holmes in 2007. This year, look at the lineup. Christy Turlington, I am told, went through the first half in just under 2 hours. Could be a sub-4 marathon. She's running for her charity, Every Mother Counts. Abby Wambach. Marcus Mumford of Mumford & Sons Band is running for Children in Conflict. His bandmate Ben Lovett also running in this one. Neve Schulman, MTV's Catfish. He's run some fast New York City marathons. This is his 4th New York City Marathon. Should be a fun day out there for them as well.
And of course, Zach and Tasha of Bachelorette fame right here on Channel 7. Great to see them out here on the course as well. Everyone is going to finish right here in Central Park. And that is where our pal Josh Heiniger is hanging out right behind us. What's going on, Josh?
Well, hey, Ryan and Sam. And by the way, we are all together again for the first time in 2 years. And it's such a big deal. And it's so exciting to be here at the finish again after a year of hiatus at one of the darkest times in New York history. Right now, we're starting to see what I think is the most exciting part of the race, which is the tens of thousands of non-elite runners, the people who've run through all 5 boroughs, who have all that amazing excitement after having gone through this amazing milestone. And we're going to start seeing them, one of them coming up here now. Such a triumphant moment, and we'll have all of for the next hour or so. Sam, Ryan.
All right, Josh, thank you. Such an exciting time to be right here at the finish line. Great view for us right out the back window as we're watching everybody come through with smiles on their faces. They finish these 26.2 miles. The award ceremony on the women's side is about to take place, and for that, let's send it down to Lewis Johnson. Lewis.
All righty. Hello, everybody. You ready to celebrate a little bit? All right. Well, it is time to celebrate and honor our top 3 finishers today in the women's professional division of the 2021 TCS New York City Marathon. And joining us for this celebration, TCS Head of Global Sports Sponsorship, Michelle Taylor. The CEO of New York Roadrunners, Karen Hempel. And Race Director of the New York Roadrunners, Ted Metellus. And Ted, congratulations to you and your team on a fantastic race today and the weather. Great job. All right, to the podium we go. Coming in 3rd place from Ethiopia is Ababel Yashana. Ababel Yashana, congratulations. In 2nd place from Kenya, Viola Cheptu, the little sister of Bernard Lagat. And now let's hear it for the 2021 TCS New York City Marathon Women's Champion, finishing with a time of 2:22:39 from Kenya, Perez Jepchirchir. Jane Merka is the wife of the first New York City Marathon champion, but she has some history here herself as she has been creating the laurel wreaths for the winners since the 1972 race. That is beautiful. And now to present our champion with the 2021 Samuel Rudin Trophy, here she comes, 9-year-old Elle Rudin-Earls. Come on, Elle. Great job, Elle, as always. And congratulations to Perez Jepchirchir and our top 3 women finishers in the 2021 TCS New York City Marathon. Let's give them a hand.
Thank you so much, Lewis. Here's a look at the women's results, the top 10 finishers of the 2021 TCS New York City Marathon. Perez, Jeff Cheer. What a win for her today, Sam.
Certainly, this is her New York City Marathon debut. Just so dominant out there. And you saw her until the very end making that move, making history, as we talked about earlier, by winning the gold in Tokyo and now the New York City Marathon.
Congratulations to Paris and all of the top 10 finishers. Let's check in now with Michelle Charlesworth, who's out there on First Avenue. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, Ryan and Ryan. You cracked me up. I love you guys. All right, so much energy out here. It's fantastic. Let's go over a lot of people out here. Huge crowd since early this morning. People are ready for it to come back. So excited. Who is this? Who is this person?
My sister Caroline. She's running today, her first New York City Marathon. And this is our mom. She can't be here today, so she made this sign for us to hold.
Mom, you're awesome. You're awesome. So wait, is this a first time?
First time marathon in New York for Caroline. Her 5th marathon, though.
So was she a runner before all of this? So 5th marathon, I mean, elsewhere.
Yeah, she's really fast. She's going to do so well today. We're so excited for her.
This is the best marathon there is.
The best marathon in the world.
The most energy, right? Have you been to other marathons?
Yes.
Because I feel bad for them.
I know. This is the cream of the crop here. It's the best of the best.
It's so fun. And where are you guys from?
We all live in the East Village in New York. Originally from Philadelphia. We're originally from Philadelphia.
Don't be shy.
I know. We're I'm the other sister.
I love it. So fun. What do you think of the crowds?
Amazing. Oh,
I know, it's good, right?
Electric.
It is electric. Well, this is First Avenue at 61st. So this is mile 16. We saw the NYPD officer come by before. We see FDNY come by. So many people running for charities. So it's fantastic to see that, running for kids. We just saw Will Reeve come by from ABC News, and that was fantastic. He looked amazing. So it's really nice to see. Go Burke! A lot of people with their names on Burke. Yeah, baby! Woo! See? Look at that. That's why people love First Avenue, because people are loud and they're crazy. So a lot of energy here. They're in Manhattan. They know they just have to go up and touch the boogie down, go over to the Willis Avenue Bridge. Yeah, baby! Hi, Suzanne! FDNY! Love, see? Don't you want to run a marathon? Fantastic. Anyway, 3 miles up there is the boogie down. Back to you guys. So much fun out here.
Oh, Michelle, she just said everyone's loud and crazy on First Avenue. I haven't seen anyone loud and crazy on First Avenue.
No, not anybody.
Have you?
That's a tough act to follow.
And it's tough to follow the New York City Marathon, as Michelle said. She feels bad for the other marathons. We're coming back from the TCS New York City Marathon after this.
Tata Consultancy Services, 50 years of stats. We look at the average finish times for women starting in the 70s and decade by decade. What jumps out at you there, Sam?
That these are fast numbers, and they're getting faster, and I don't fall in any of these categories.
That makes 2 of us. That's the first thing that jumped out at me.
Actually, 2010s, the 450, I make that for the rest of the field, okay?
I like it. How about the men's side of things? Back in the 1970s, the winner 2:19.35. Rest of the field 3:28.44. And you see the numbers basically go up exponentially for the rest of the field, decade by decade, and decrease exponentially for the winner.
You wouldn't make them feel that way.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out.
50 years of stats. Look at the runners. These are the rest of the runners. Just having so much fun out there. The weather is perfect. No breeze, no wind conditions to worry about.
Not only the conditions, but how much does that boost your spirits when you're out running a race like today in these conditions? Does that allow you to pick up the pace a little bit?
This is when you thank Lee Goldberg and say, Lee, we love you. Thank you for this day. This is a perfect day. It really is. There's so many variables in the month of November. You don't know.
That's a good point.
You could have cold. You could have snow. We've seen some marathons in the past, New York City marathons in the past, where we've seen some snow.
And now we're going to have mid-60s next week. We'll take it. How about the men's ceremony? Lewis Johnson standing by here at the finish line with that. Lewis, take it away.
All righty, here we go once again. It is time now to celebrate and honor our top 3 finishers in the men's professional division of the 2021 TCS New York City Marathon. Once again, we'll say hello to the TCS Head of Global Sports Sponsorships, Michelle Taylor. Hello again. The CEO of New York Roadrunners is Karen Hempel. Welcome back again. And, of course, our race director of the New York Roadrunners, Ted Metellus. All right, to the podium we go for our top three. Finishing in third from Italy, Iya Fanilla. In second place from Morocco with a great race, Mohamed El Ahabe. And now let's hear it for the 2021 TCS New York City Marathon Men's Champion, finishing with a time of 2:08:22 from Kenya, Albert Korir. And once again, Jay Murka to present our winner with the Laurel Wreath. And to present our champion with the 2021 Samuel Rudin Trophy, here she comes again, 9-year-old Elle Rudin Earls. Come on, Elle. Fantastic job again. And so let's say once again a big round of applause, New York City style. Congratulations to Albert Korir and to our top three men's finishers in the 2021 TCS New York City Marathon.
From the top 3 to the top 10. My favorite part was Albert Korir jumping over the finish line.
A spirited finish line for him. The celebratory jumping up, breaking the tape, and then his victory lap. And I don't know how he dug deep and had that energy after 26.2 miles at that pace. But he did it, coming in second in 2019, the last time we were here. Yeah. This was his today.
And how about 4 Americans in the top 10, including Ben True, Nathan Martin, and Jared Ward. Congratulations to our top 10 finishers.
Jared Ward with 3 straight New York City Marathon top 10 finishes for him.
A big number indeed. Somewhere up in the Bronx is our friend Anthony Johnson. Anthony, what's going on?
Hey, a lot of excitement out here in the Bronx. Of course, all the folks starting to run through this area have been watching them. You know, this is that part where we were talking to some runners earlier where they really have to work hard. Their mind and body really starts to play a lot of tricks on them when they get to this 20-mile marker. But they get a lot of help, a lot of enthusiasm, a crowd out here. They're not the biggest crowd, but they are pretty loud out here as they continue to cheer all the runners on, and just watching them as they start to make their way through this section, coming off the Willis Avenue Bridge, and then they come down East 135th Street, up Alexander Avenue. Nice group of people making this run on this, what has turned out to be an amazing day for the 50th running of the New York City Marathon. Let's take some shots as we look right up East 135th Street. This is when they throw, this is when they come out of Manhattan, and then they come back into the Bronx and then back into the Manhattan once again. So a lot of people out here now starting to cheer these people on. They need this momentum. They need this energy so they can continue the next 6.2 miles. Now let's toss it back over to my colleague, Kimberly. Having a great day out here, Kim, right?
Anthony, the DJ here at Mile 8 in Brooklyn is off the chains. Look at the runners. They're strong, even stronger. These wonderful people. Tell me, how long have you been coming out to the race?
Recently, 10 years. I live not far, so I come every year.
It's so special this year, given we weren't here last year.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be here?
Great. I'm like electrified. I'm pumped up, and I'm happy for everybody. We needed this.
Oh, we did, right? Tell me, do you normally come out here? Yeah, every year.
Every year. I live in the neighborhood all my life.
Not having it last year. That kind of, I don't want to use, not here having it last year. That kind of.
Yeah, it was very sad, but right now, everybody's out, and it's an exciting time, and it's great to see how many people out here.
I know, I've never seen this many spectators. I keep saying that. We have fewer runners, but you all came out and represented. This is your first time. What do you think?
I think it's great. I think it was important for me to get here after the pandemic, so it's I don't know, I think it's very symbolic.
Okay, you look good too. Okay,
Tell me, being out here today, you guys have been out here for hours. You're waiting for someone?
Guys, where's the Puma?
Fantastic. How is it for you this year? How is it for you this year, baby? How is it being here today?
Oh, it's been magical. It's been so amazing. Absolutely.
You guys enjoy
The energy out here has been awesome.
Okay, thank you guys very much. Not only does Brooklyn have swagger, but I don't know, Josh, can you keep up with all this?
And hi, guys. I'm Josh Einiger at the finish line with Michelle Taylor. You are with TCS. You are the, I want to get this right, the head of global sports sponsorships for TCS. TCS is involved with a lot of different marathons. What's special and different about New York?
Man, there's so much special about New York. I mean, it truly is where the world comes to run. And as a global company, for us, we are so excited to welcome the world to New York. And TCS also works so hand in hand with New York Roadrunners on innovating the event.
TCS, our proud sponsor of the New York City Marathon on today, the 50th run of this great race. It's been 20 years since 9/11. We'll compare then and now with a woman who was there and lived it all. An interview with Dina Castor on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
We believe the significance of this year's marathon is tremendous because of the 20th anniversary of 9/11 and what we all just went through this past year.
The 9/11 marathon, I think, is the most important ever in the history of the organization. It was a moment when the city really needed us and needed us to bring people back together and give people a chance to honor and remember and give people from around the world a chance to come pay tribute to all of New York City.
After 9/11, there was just enough time to generate the feeling that this marathon was making a statement that we were back, that New York was going to make it. That was really important. And now, after the cancellation last year, the pandemic, I think this city is looking to this race in a big way.
Coming after the pandemic, that energy is needed again. We need to have folks out, running, engaged, celebrating life. This year's marathon will celebrate life.
So much emotion when you watch that. We're feeling it. We are back now, joined by one of the greatest marathoners in American history, Dina Castor. She's the American record holder and Olympic bronze medalist, and she actually made her marathon debut here in New York back in 2001. Dina, you placed 7th in that marathon, but there was so much emotion, and we're still feeling it when we watch that. What do you remember about that marathon?
Yeah, if there were a hashtag back then, it would have been United We Run, because the city really came together. The world came together that day. People flew in from around the world and really showed the resiliency that New York is known for. And it was an emotional race. It felt so patriotic in so many ways. It was also the U.S. Championships here that weekend. So it was a powerful, powerful weekend, and it really hooked me on the marathon distance. And on the track and in cross country, you feel like you're performing for people. And it wasn't until I got to this marathon that I felt like I found my community.
And it's safe to say 20 years later, there's some parallels between the atmosphere surrounding that race and the atmosphere surrounding this race here today.
Yeah, today definitely felt like a comeback. Being on the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, you could see it in people's faces, the relief and joy of being united again. And so united, they ran again today, and they continue to run as people cross the finish line behind us. So it was a beautiful spirit out there. New York pulls it out in fine fashion each and every year, except with the exception of last year, of course, but it's just been a joy.
Great to see all the runners back on the course, including the professional women's race. What a race it was. Dina, what stood out to you today about the professional women out there?
You know, I was so impressed at just up front seeing the dominance of U.S. distance running and where we stand in the world right now. In the pack of 11 women, there were 5 U.S. runners in that pack, many of them leading the way through the early miles. There you see Kellen Taylor and Stephanie Bruce of Hoka Northern Arizona Elite Team training at altitude. Annie Frisbee there on the left of your screen from Minnesota. She was making her marathon debut here. And you can't count out debut runners because Molly Seidel in her marathon debut at the U.S. Olympic trials ended up making her first Olympic team. So never discount a debutante, as we saw as the miles went on, because there was another debutante out there in Viola Jeptu, and she went on to capture the second place on the podium today. But such a
stride for stride with Paris.
Never in the 50-year history of this event has an Olympic champion gone on to capture the top of the podium here in New York City, and Paris Jepchirchir did it in fine style. It shows why she has not lost a race in over 2 years.
Such a strong finish for Paris. There she is, crossing the finish line, crossing the tape. They're making history in the process. And she had said just earlier this week, this is a race I wanted to run. I wanted to come to New York City and run this. What did you take from her?
Jepchirchir in first, Viola Cheptu in second, and Ababel Yeshane of Ethiopia in third. Molly Seidel actually ran in fourth place. She's the bronze medalist. I had the privilege of riding on the women's lead vehicle. Molly was right there leading down First Avenue. Her bib number said Seidel on it, the Olympic bronze medalist. Everybody on First Avenue knew her as Molly. There were a lot of cheers for her, so a great performance today. In a subpar buildup, she said, but to be fourth place, be the fastest American to ever run here says a lot when you think of Desiree Linden and Shalane Flanagan and Kara Goucher, all who have had such great careers. The fact that she could be the fastest American running here in New York says a lot.
And as you mentioned, she made her marathon debut in the Olympic trials. So when you think about her young marathon career, it seems like this is just the beginning for her.
Just the beginning. Her first marathon, she makes a U.S. team. She goes on to run the London Marathon because of the postponement of the games and runs a personal best, then gets a bronze medal, then comes here and runs as the fastest American ever to grace the streets of New York. I mean, this is an impressive career at a young age.
Molly Seidel with a fourth place finish here in New York City.
So many great storylines. Dina, thanks so much for being with us. We'll see you again real soon.
Thank you so much.
And there's so much excitement still out there on the course, including our friend Kimberly Richardson, who is standing by. What's going on, Kim?
Ryan, I am getting a workout today. It has nothing to do with running, has everything to do with the DJ here at Mile 8 and this fantabulous crowd. I want to try and grab someone. Come. How are you?
Oh, good. I'm amazing. I feel really good.
You feel strong?
Yeah, I do.
How is it being out here today compared to,
It's amazing. This is my 5th one, and it feels like the first. It's awesome to be back.
Okay, I'm going to let you go, Melissa. Take care. Bye. And also, part of the magic out here is these folks right here. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Is this your first marathon, your 18th marathon?
No, this is my first. I'm here from Florida, from Fort Lauderdale, to support my cousin, Emma Crowd, who works for Kettle Slode, as you can see.
What is it like being out here with us, New York?
Oh, this is great. I mean, the support system that you see, it makes me happy. I mean, I'm filled with joy. And just to see everybody out here naming people we don't even know and supporting them because they have their names on them, it's the best.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You guys. Supporting our sister. And your sister is?
Misha Gravesandi Powell. We're from Philadelphia. This is her second time running this marathon.
Have you ever been to the New York City Marathon?
Absolutely. I'm originally from Brooklyn, baby.
How is it? You made it before.
Yeah.
What was
More than 2 times.
More than 2 times. What was your time? You remember?
Oh, he's fast.
3:40 or something.
How is it being out here this year?
Oh, it's beautiful. I'm here to support my sister. I love it.
Thank you.
I love the resilience,
Well, thank you for being here. I'm telling you, this Brooklyn swagger, this Brooklyn love, I'm loving it. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Kimberly. 340 or something. I would have that tattooed on my arm.
No
I'd be
question
so
about
proud of that. The crowd support so important for these runners as they are making their way. You see them to Fifth Avenue, Central Park. There is Manhattan, the final of the 5 boroughs of the 26.2 journey of the TCS New York City Marathon. We are coming back with a men's recap.
The TCS New York City Marathon is brought to you by MasterCard.
Sunday on Channel 7, the 50th running of the TCS New York City Marathon on an absolutely spectacular day. In the Big Apple, the 2021 Abbott World Marathon Majors, well, they look a little different this year because they're all clustered together in the fall, 6 of them to be exact. Normally there would be 3 in the spring, 3 in the fall, but they're all back to back to back to back to back. And one woman who knows about running all of them is Shalane Flanagan.
Yeah, this year, this is such an incredible feat. 6 marathons in 6 weeks, 42 days, beginning with Berlin. Look at these times. Her goal was to be under 3 hours, and wow, she crushed it. And what really stands out to me me, which I find so Herculean, is that she ran Chicago and Boston on back-to-back days. She finished here in New York City, and Josh Eininger is with her right now. Josh?
It's really incredible, and congratulations on another run. You won the New York City Marathon in 2017. You've run 6 now in
42 days.
And when you crossed the finish line, you seemed really emotional. I guess it never gets old. Could you describe that? What was going through your head?
Yeah, I even feel emotional now. It's just been a really hard 2 years for people, and it's been incredible to reunite with the running community. And I know New York specifically has been through a lot, and the fans were incredible. I think this is like, you know, winning was obviously changed my life, but to come here today and experience it in a different capacity with my son and my family, and really soaking up the environment, all that New York has to offer. I just really enjoyed it, and it to a different level today, and it just a lot of depth to it.
And you're here with your son, who's a year and a half, which means you've gone through COVID as a new mom in addition to all of this.
Yes, yeah. That was tricky.
Yeah. I bet.
Yes.
But how important is that to you that he's here today, that you're able to carry this forward, and that we're all back?
Yeah, to me, children are life enhancers, and I'm just grateful that to have this, you know, privileged opportunity to have run all of these 6 world major marathons and bring him along with me. I want him influenced by the incredible people that are part of this sport, and I'm just so grateful to be back running. You know, I went through retirement, 2 knee surgeries, extensive knee surgeries, and so if anything, we're really grateful for our health right now, right? So I take none of this for granted.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations, and you're back running again. You know, you're going to do all the Abbotts, you said, the whole Abbott circle again?
Yeah. Oh well, this is it. This is the finale. Okay. So I am done. 6 marathons, 42 days. A nice exclamation point because I ran my fastest today of 2:33. So I'm very, very pleased. It was so much fun. I wish I could do it all over again, actually.
Will you run another one?
Well, after a good break.
Not today.
Not today.
Shalane, great to see you.
Yes.
All the best to you. Thank you very much. Back to you guys.
Not today, and not necessary after the 2:33 today. The fastest of the 6 in 42 days came right here at the 2021 TCS New York City Marathon. She mentioned the double knee surgery, knee reconstruction surgery that she had, and then she completed this feat, the 6 stars of the World Marathon Majors.
I think you said it best, a Herculean effort by one Shalane Flanagan. Now, we have so many historians here on staff at Channel 7. We may have to look this up, because I think this is the first time we've had Mr. Lewis Johnson on set for the post-race show.
You scared me there for a second when you said historian.
You were wondering where I was going with
I was wondering, but
we are happy to have you alongside us, my friend. Great job out there today.
Thank you.
Obviously, one of your favorite days on the calendar. What stood out to you the most being out there this afternoon?
Listen, I think, once again, it's just the return of sport, right? It was the return of the marathon. I heard it multiple times on the race course. Welcome back to New York. These are fans screaming, happy to see the race up and again. And can I just use the word glorious? It was just that.
It's a perfect word for it.
It was just that. People who were out in all the boroughs. There were the quiet moments across the bridge where things were happening, bridges where things were happening. But just to feel the energy and the excitement, I know that the athletes felt that. And for me, as someone who's privileged to ride in that position, I felt it too.
You know, we talked about the, the condensed field, and obviously the majors were crammed together in this schedule. But then you saw the field today, and you were on the lead moto for this race. So you got a great view of the men's race. What did you notice from the men's race?
Well, I thought, from the beginning, I was really interested to see what Kenenisa Bekele would do. It was his first race here in New York City, his first marathon in America, and I thought, there he is on the left. He was going to try and feel his way through this. He knows the distance, as I said during the race, but he had never run New York, so he doesn't know the course itself. And so Bekele, who was there on the right, was just really kind of making his way through. through and just was strong early on, but then we began to have some issues as we saw Iowa Day and some of the others began to move forward. It was really just incredible.
What made Albert career? What was the difference for him? Obviously, he knows the course. You know, we saw him a podium finish a couple of years ago. What was the difference for him? We saw him pull away really in the Bronx.
Yeah, career was always right there. The lead pack broke up a couple times and reassembled it, broke up again. But he just has that incredible gait. He has the experience of 2019 where he finished in second when he thought he was going to win. So I'm sure all those memories are playing in his head, and he had this moment, which I'm sure he'll remember forever.
We don't see too many guys jump across the finish line, Lewis, after 26.2 miles.
No, you don't. And that just tells you how much he was excited about the moment. It is just a long distance. I've never understood the ability of a man or woman to toe the line and run that far, but the joy and the excitement of being able to do what he did and have these rewards is just unmatched.
You know, and he talked about, hey, this is not an easy course. 26.2 is 26.2, but there is that uphill climb to get to the finish line. When you see the conditions there, that helped them out. But here's the top 10 finishers, so we take a look at them right here. Does anyone really stand out to you here that is a surprise?
Well, not a surprise necessarily, but it's interesting to see someone like Ben True, who finished in 7th.
This marathon debut, right?
Yeah, exactly. The Americans there who are moving their way up. So there's going to be, you know, you've got to earn your way toward the top of that to make it to the podium, right? So you have the experience, you learn about your mistakes, what went well, and then you kind of figure out how to build on that. But again, coming off of COVID, which we're not completely out of, but seeing sport return, everybody now has a target, a date for something in particular they want to attack. And so I think having this marathon back along with all the marathon majors gives everybody that specific opportunity to train for this moment. The Big Apple is one of the biggest.
And in a big way, the Big Apple felt like it was back today as well.
Absolutely.
A welcome back for all of us.
Yeah.
We all feel energized.
Yeah, no question about it. It was awesome. Good stuff, Lewis. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me. Great to see you guys.
All right, First Avenue is where our friend Michelle Charlesworth is standing by amongst the masses. What's going on, Michelle?
Hey! Oh my gosh, these people are so nice out here. They're so excited. They're so excited for the marathon to be back. Come on over, Andre. What do you got? What do you think? What do you think of the crowds? Come off of the bridge.
And the DJ is going. It's honestly amazing.
Who are you cheering for?
My friend Laura. Yeah, from Connecticut. My friend Laura.
I'm with her, Laura. Yeah. It's like we're going to miss it. I know she's going to come in any second.
Run now, wine later, people. Look at the guys upstairs. Look at the guy with the dog. I love it. There was a mommy up there before. She's so cute. All right, enjoy. So much energy as they come off and they hear all these crazy people who are keeping me company. 30,000 of our closest friends, baby. Back to you.
Yeah, 30,000 folks and watching them as they make their way now through the Bronx. This is that 20-mile marker. Still a lot of big faces and a lot of big smiles out here on a lot of people's faces as they make their way through here. That's incredible to me because I couldn't imagine running that far and still smiling while I'm making my way for the next 6.2 miles. As we've been talking about, this 20-mile marker means a whole lot to a lot of people because normally when a lot of these runners train, they train to run for 20 miles, and then they tell me the last 6.2 miles, hey, look what a Brazil! How are you? Country. How is the run? How's it going so far?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Sorry, I don't speak English.
That's all right.
Brazil.
Brazil?
Yes, Portuguese.
Oh, thank you. Hey, we got all kinds of people from all kinds of places out here running this race today, as we always do, to the New York City Marathon. And once again, just looking up East 135th Street, you can see the crowd as they come into the Bronx. Then they make this first a left turn, then a right turn, and then all of a sudden they make another left turn, and they're out of here. Once again, a great day to be out here. The crowd continues to be out here. They're loud, they're very boisterous, and just giving all the runners all the support they need. Back to you folks.
And Anthony out there supporting them as well with hugs. When you get to mile 20, everyone is your best friend. You need the energy, right?
You love the on-course embrace.
Absolutely.
When we come back, A conversation with our old pal, Peter Cha-Cha, the former race director of this great race. That's coming at you on the other side of the break. Stay tuned.
There's a million ways to get the news, but there's only one eyewitness news. So we make
Time now for TCS Stats presented by Tata Consultancy Services. And look at the history here of the New York City Marathon mass participation. 127 runners towed the line and started that race in 1970. The inaugural one, run only here in Central Park, only 55 finished. Look at the difference that women to men participation. No women in 1970, 12% in 1980. Part and due, the growth of that to Miss Catherine Switzer. Now it's almost half participation.
And those are important numbers. And I don't know if we can do a throwback Thursday on a Sunday, but we're going to call it that as we welcome back our good friend and longtime race director, Peter Cha-Cha, joining us here on set. And you have to be so proud when you see those numbers, how this race has evolved in the 20 years or so that you've been involved with this great race.
It's terrific, terrific. It lifts your spirits. New York City's biggest block party is back on the streets here. It's just terrific. And to see the growth over the years and to work with the team and how we, put it all together, and it comes to fruition here every first Sunday in November. It's so spectacular.
You're back here for the 50th running of the TCS New York City Marathon, but last we saw you was 2018 after you retired.
Yeah.
So tell us what you've been up to.
Well, like everybody else, there was a pandemic involved, so we had to hunker down and take care of things. But a little of this, a little of that, and was waiting for the big time to get vaccinated and get out and do get it back into the public. So it's been fun. I've been retired, so hey, I could wake up late. Get up early.
Well, we know you were up early today. We had to wait an extra year for it, but the 50th running of this great race, what special meaning does that have for you?
Well, I always said we stand on the shoulders of those that come before us, and it truly does. You could see it here from Fred LeBeau and Alan Seinfeld right up. We took everything that we could, made it better, wanted to deliver the best experience we could for the runners, make it a safe race, make it really something that they walked away from saying, hey, we have to do that again. And it took a great team to do that. I worked with some really dedicated and a privilege to work with. I had Jim Hine, my technical director at the time, was instrumental in helping us grow the race. And the city agencies, obviously. We worked by growing it, using the ferries now, expanding the ferry program, and of course the wave starts, which you guys saw several times. So it's special to see this.
We were joined by Dina Castor a little bit earlier, and we were talking about the parallel between the return here today and the return in 2001. And I know you started with New York Roadrunners in 2001. How do you compare, and do you find a parallel there, and just the way the city responds?
There is a comparison there. The city is resilient, and the runners are tough. They're tough people, and don't forget, in the middle of that we had Sandy too. So there has been that kind of thing that happened, to the marathon on the way. But there was always the spirit and the resilience and just wanting to get back, and that's what I think we're saying.
And you have to enjoy that, seeing it firsthand now that you've returned here back in the city. It's almost like you never left, my friend.
Yes, it's absolutely beautiful here, and I was just saying this the other day. The city is starting to feel the buzz. I felt the buzz walking around the city over the weekend and seeing the runners, out on doing their warm-ups, and it was just terrific. And you had the dash on Saturday, so it's going to take a little time. These guys they're the best in the business, and they'll get back to the big show. Will get even bigger. Yeah,
you say the city's starting to feel the buzz, and we saw the return this weekend, from the opening ceremonies to the dash yesterday to this. Is this it? Does this now really ignite the city?
Well, I think it's definitely going to help. I think you know, we've got concerts happening down in Madison Square Garden. I think Billy Joel, I think, is playing down there. We've got things starting to happen. Broadway, you know, so people are definitely yearning for this, and I do believe it's going to start loosening up a little more, and eventually, you know, by next year this time, you know, willing, we'll be back full blown here, or they'll be back full blown.
When you sit back and you take a moment and you look out there and you see the crowds and you see the finishers, how much pride do you have?
Oh, total. It sends chills. It really does. And not, it's not just, it's because there was so many people involved, and we just, the amount of work and the dedication that's put in to doing something like this is unbelievable, and there's nobody better at it than the New York Road Runners crew.
And I think that's the thing that sometimes gets lost in all of this, is the people at home don't understand the number of volunteers and people that it takes to put on an event of this magnitude.
Oh, of course. So, you know, they build back better is what's going on.
Well, everything feels better today. It feels like a celebration in the city, and we're happy you were back here to be a part of it.
Thanks for inviting me up. It's really great to spend time with you guys.
Peter Cha-Cha, the longtime race director of the TCS New York City Marathon. Let's get back out on the course, back to Brooklyn, where Kimberly Richardson is standing by. Kim.
Yeah, and you guys were talking about that buzz. That buzz is so alive right here. This crowd here has been with me all morning. How are you guys doing? Are you having a good time? What is it like being out here?
Beautiful. It's gorgeous. The people are nice, everything. Yeah.
First marathon coming?
Yes.
Well, welcome to the party.
I brought her here.
Nice. What about you? Who's Jen? Who's Jen? Who's Jen? Jen? Okay, and how is this Jen's first marathon?
Fun, yes.
Oh, thank goodness you guys are here to give her this little push at mile 8. How is it for you out here?
Exciting? Yeah, I'm very excited. I don't know. I'm just nervous we're going to miss her.
We're going to get out of your way so you don't miss her. I want to show you the runners here. Look at them. They are strong. They are coming to us. We are loving them. People from all over the world. Right now, though, we want to head to a very special person, my colleague, Anthony Johnson. Anthony, do you have what I have?
I don't know what you have, but I know who I have. I've got Lorenzo over here. He is from Italy, and he comes here to run this race. He was just telling me that this is his 8th race, New York City Marathon. No, you will finish it.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, let me just ask you. So what motivates you to come out here and do this?
You see all this, man? It's amazing.
It is amazing. How about the people out here?
Amazing. It's amazing. Today's a wonderful day. And you know, after 1 year not racing, it's even more important.
Yeah, to come back for the 50th running of the New York City Marathon.
Exactly, yeah.
And normally you say, you're in Italy, you come back.
Yeah, and then I was shut out of the country, you know, because of all the stuff that happened.
Right.
And I'm happy to be back. I'm flying back to Italy in a couple of days now.
You're flying back in a couple of days. Well, thank you very much. Thank you for taking some time out to talk to us. You will finish. It's only 6.2 miles. You look very good.
Thanks, man.
Okay, guys. Have a good one. All right, we're going to let Lorenzo go. He's off and going up Alexander. Hey, you know, like I tell you earlier, when they come into the Bronx, they know they're hitting that 20-mile marker, and that's a big, big event, because at 20 miles, this is when the body really starts to play tricks on you. The mind plays tricks on you. I've talked to a lot of runners. They've always told me about this 20-mile marker. So a lot of people out here enjoying this, a lot of fans. Try to cheer them on as they make their way through the Bronx. Back to you guys.
All right, Anthony, and good luck to Albert as he has 6.2 miles to go now until we see him cross the finish line here in Central Park. We are coming back here from the TCS New York City Marathon after this.
The TCS New York City Marathon is sponsored by Disney's Encanto in theaters this Thanksgiving.
The official app powered by TCS. You can track unlimited in-person and virtual runners, send them a digital cheer card, check out the real-time leaderboard, and explore the course map in augmented reality through the very cool Marathon City 3D map. It's all on the TCS New York City Marathon app, which is now available in both the Apple and Google Play Store. The most inspiring and emotional moments are still yet to come as the final finishers of the race cross the line. We'll see the professional runners come back to join race director Ted Metellus and a crowd of spectators gathering to celebrate their accomplishments and to cheer on these courageous folks.
Well, some of these men and women have been out on the course for 8 or 10 hours, never losing focus on the goal of finishing right here. And later tonight, you can see this all on ABC7NY.com beginning at 8 p.m. It's truly a unique aspect of the TCS New York City Marathon. Ryan, a couple years ago, I came out here at 6:35 right after the newscast, stood at the finish line, and it really is so emotional and inspiring. There's a cheer zone there at the finish line, glow sticks. It's a party.
And you know those finishers appreciate all of that support after the sun sets here in Central Park to have that kind of party when they cross the finish line. Just so unbelievable stuff. Speaking of parties, yeah, Michelle Charlesworth right in the middle of one as always. Let's send it out to her. Hi, Michelle.
Chris Temperell!
Hey!
16 miles in!
Oh, I feel terrific. I feel terrific. I'm ready for 10 more miles.
All right, how many marathons is this for
This
you?
is my third.
You're amazing.
This is my third. I ran my first one on my 60th birthday 2.5 years ago.
Oh my gosh! I love the fact that you have Chris on your shirt. Does everybody scream Chris for you?
Like all of my friends in Brooklyn. There must have been 4 million friends in Brooklyn screaming my name.
What about Queens?
Queens? Yeah, Queens. I'm a Brooklyn boy, so Brooklyn is my love.
Tell me about why you're running.
I'm running for Team TCS Teachers. I got selected as one of 50 teachers around the U.S. and Canada. And I'm just so fortunate. This is my 20th year teaching after a 20-year career in the New York Fire Department.
Wait a minute. What?
So,
How old are you?
I'm 62. I'll be 63 in December.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. And so I'm running for them. I'm running for those that can't run. I'm running for teachers all around the country. I'm running for Black Men Run. Everybody.
All right,
Good. Thank you.
Amazing. I'm running for teachers. I'm running for the FDNY. I'm running for people who can't run. Fantastic. Back to you guys.
All right, Michelle. Chris, how about him with and my New York Fire Department and now a teacher. 2 careers, running for everyone, running for people who can't run, as Michelle said, and having fun out there. Look at these runners. So many smiles.
So many smiles. Michelle with a hand on the head type moment, and that perfectly described that interview with Chris. Just great stuff. Michelle, I should say, Kimberly Richardson is out in Brooklyn amongst the masses. What's going on, Kim?
I am having so much fun, and it was truly, look at this. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. These folks are out here. You want to stop? Oh my God. Hi.
We're having such an amazing time.
It's great. It's 50, 50. All right.
I'm 54 years old running my fourth.
I love it. 54 years old running her fourth. What the what? Oh my goodness. These folks, they're so much a part of this recipe and part of this magic. Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Hi, is this your first marathon, 18th?
Marathon, yes.
Where are you from?
Right now, I'm a New Yorker, but I'm living in Philadelphia.
Well, welcome to New York. What do you think? This is a special one for a lot of people, for the city, for the country. We weren't here last year, but we are so strong this year. How is it for you being out here?
It's great. You know, I'm coming back to my hometown. It's great.
Welcome home.
Now, you have to come down to Philly for their Thanksgiving Day parade.
Oh, I don't know.
What they're doing is they're combining all the parades that were canceled last year. The Puerto Rican Day parade, the Italian parade, the German parade, all the parades are going to be together in one parade.
I love it. Well, thank you for being here and thank you for talking to me. How about you? You're here today? Who are you waiting for?
My daughter's coming in about 2 seconds.
Is it her first marathon?
Second one here.
Second one. Do you see her? Do you know where she is?
She's supposed to be just rounding up right now.
This is part of the fun, just waiting and looking and waiting for your loved one. Are you so proud for her?
Always.
Is she from New York?
No, she lives in New York, but she's from Michigan.
Okay, and you being here, is this your first New York City marathon?
Pardon me?
Is this your first New York City marathon?
No, we were here when she did it in 18.
Well, welcome. I hope she has a good time.
I'm sure she will.
Okay, I'm going to leave you alone now. You know you're very, very focused. You have a mat here.
And a sign.
A sign? Who is this person?
Sonia! Woo! She's my girlfriend.
Your girlfriend? Is this her first? Your sister?
No, it went away.
Wait, you're twins?
No, they're not.
Oh, I thought you said twins. Wait, so this is the magic of all of us. This is the magic, the beauty of New York City. How is it for you being out here?
Great. I love it. I mean, the energy is fantastic.
It's through the roof.
And it's not even cold, so I'm happy for the runners. They're doing great.
I've changed 3 times. Well, have a good thing. I want to show good day. I want to show you guys something. I have never seen this before. Look over here. Yay! That is actually the race there, and that is the course. Those folks standing on the left and the right, I've never seen them this much in the roadway. We're here on Flatbush and 4th Avenue. It is a fantastic thing. I'm having a good time. It is emotional being out here again with these lovely folks. You know, we took a hit last year, but that's okay. We came back bigger. We came back stronger, because that's what New York City does. Back to you guys inside.
All right, Kimberly, such a great sight there. Having so much fun, because you see those runners in Brooklyn, and then they make that curve, that turn to the left. That was always one of my favorite stops running the marathon, because I would see Kimberly and Angelo, and I would just give them big hugs, and you get so fired up because you have that momentum. You're coming up the bridge, you're coming through Brooklyn, you have excitement and energy, and then you see the Channel 7 crew, and you're so happy. You saw Michigan in the house too, right?
I did, and you know what? Not to mention, if I'm a runner, I'm stopping to talk to every reporter so I can catch my breath. I think that's the perfect opportunity to be able to do that. I'm saying if I did run. Maybe that's why I don't. Michelle Charlesworth, let's go back to her. She is standing by on 1st Avenue. Michelle.
Okay, you want to talk about inspiring? This is Brett Parker. Tell me, you have been running today for what reason?
So I'm with the Michael J. Fox Foundation. I was diagnosed with Parkinson's 15 years ago when I was 38. I'm trying to raise money because, you know what? There's no cure. We need a cure, and I don't want to keep running, so I raised...
You're running a marathon!
Well, yes, if that's what it takes. I mean, and it's amazing. The crowds are amazing. There's 180 people for the foundation running today, trying to raise money.
Yeah, and you've raised $80,000.
Yes, and we need more. I'd love a cure. I'd love to run. It's fun. It's nice. The crowds are great, but I'd rather sit on my couch and watch you on the news.
Oh, you're so sweet. You came running over. Thank you so much.
People are so great. The crowds in New York are awesome. A native New Yorker, I love
Isn't
it
it
here.
the best?
New York's the best.
Give Brett some love. If people want to donate through you, how do they find?
Go to find me on Facebook, Brett Parker, Parkinson's. You'll find me.
Oh my gosh, what do you think of the crowds?
The crowds are amazing.
They're amazing, right?
I'm dying, and then they keep me going. I mean, it's just, thank you. Thank you for showing the world how awesome New York is.
Bye, Brett. Enjoy every step. Enjoy every step. Bye. You're awesome. You're awesome. He just came running over.
You are awesome,
I love these
Michelle.
people. Back to you guys.
We love you. You're awesome. Brett is awesome. $80,000 raised for Parkinson's.
And then that hug, that's what the marathon is all about, isn't it?
It really is.
That was just beautiful. Plenty of finishers making their way here to Central Park, and that is where our pal Josh Heidegger is standing by. What's going on, Josh?
Guys, there's a time-worn tradition of first responders being involved in the marathon, and joining me now are 2 very important people: the Fire Commissioner of the City of New York, Dan Nigro, the Acting Chief of Department of the NYPD, Kathleen O'Reilly. Thank you both for joining us. In between is a very important, very heavy trophy. It's the Mayor's Cup. Every year it's awarded to one agency. It has a lot more red on it, I can see from this side. Commissioner, what is the symbolism behind this, to talk about?
Well, this is a very friendly competition between the teams from NYPD and FDNY. This year, I'm told, the trophy goes to NYPD.
Congratulations.
And I wish to congratulate them for all it takes to win this.
There is another time-worn tradition of trash talking between the 2 agencies, but there are a lot of really important traditions involved with the marathon. And actually, the police commissioner isn't here because he's running right now doing something that's very important. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
That's amazing. He's running with Lisa Tezzulo, who lost her husband 5 years ago. And we're proud of him that he's running with her. This is a great event, premier running event in the world, and it just proves New York's back. We're back.
Well, we're back, and very quickly, because they wanted me to wrap, but this has been a really difficult 2 years, in particular for both of your agencies. You've had members get sick, some have lost their lives. We're in this city. There's all this energy. What does it feel for you, Commissioner, to be standing here with the cheering and with all of this going on again?
I think, like Kathy said, the city's back. You know, our teams are here. Everyone's having fun. You hear the noise. It's just a symbol that it's back after 20 very, very difficult months. And COVID's not over, but we're doing the best we can.
Right, and doing it well. So thank you both so much for congratulations
awesome
to
win.
the NYPD for today's win.
Thank you.
All right, and back to you guys.
That perfectly sums up the last 20 months. We're doing the best we can.
The city is back, and this is so much more than one runner's journey, 30,000 runners' journey. This is about a community. This is about New York City. This is about New York.
And it's been one heck of a celebration today. Stay with us. We're coming right back on Channel 7.
There's a million ways to get the news, but there's only one eyewitness news, so we made
running at the TCS New York City Marathon right here on Channel 7. We are proud and honored to bring you this great race. Once again, been so much fun out there on the course today. Michelle Charlesworth, Kimberly Richardson, Anthony Bronx, all over this race from the jump. There they are. There's those three smiling faces. Kimberly's in Brooklyn. Let's start with you, Kim.
You know what happens when you're here in amazing Brooklyn? You get treats. Someone just saw us on TV. The folks at Brooklyn Baklava, and look what they brought us. They brought us yummy treats, so that's for later. But more importantly is what's happening here. It is an incredible scene. Look at this. Look at this. How are you doing? How are you doing? Good. Mile 8, you look great. To the final finish. Tatiana Rojas. Go, Tatiana. Bravo. Okay. Bye. All right, so this is the love here in Brooklyn. Mile 8. Michelle, my colleague, over the bridge, over the river. First Avenue. What's going on, Michelle?
Oh my gosh, the nicest people. You're running the marathon.
Yes. For my father, Dr. Robertson. This is my 10th time.
10th time.
Yep. My dad passed away of lung cancer in July, so I'm running in his honor. These are my two best friends here with me.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
How much do you love this?
I love it. It's the most amazing day in New York. New York is like divided and mixed up, and everybody comes out and cheers. It's like the best. There's so much love. That's why I love it.
God bless you.
Thank you. God bless
you. Your whole family. Take care. Have a great run, Anthony. Anthony, back to you in the Bronx.
Yeah, indeed, here in the Bronx, still watching the runners come in waves as they continue to come through here. 1 mile, 20-mile marker right here. We just got a chance to talk to one of the runners. She stopped for a brief second, Elizabeth. She's run this race 22 times. She told me just last month she ran the Boston Marathon, so she's running this one a little bit slower out here today. But you can just look at this, all the faces coming down here, East 135th Street, turning up Alexander and pretty much right back into Manhattan. A lot of people, though, they're still very happy, very pleased. We saw a lot of people throwing up their hands, cheering, fans out here just supporting all the runners as they make their way through the Bronx on this 50th running of the New York City Marathon. Back to you.
What an incredible team of reporters we have covering this. Anthony, Michelle, Kimberly, Josh. Michelle, I'll have what she's having. And Kimberly, just if she's listening, she's 18 miles away from us. So if you... She can run.
Yeah.
Not the full marathon.
No.
18 miles. Bring those treats.
Yeah, you're
We'll
losing
take that.
6.2. Bring them right here to the truck.
Yeah, making it easy.
Let's
on you,
do it.
Kimberly.
Well, I'll tell you what a fun day. I think no matter what you so many smiles, such a celebration for the city. It has been everything we could have asked for, and then some. Runners are still streaming across the finish line, and although the crowds will begin to thin out late this afternoon, finishers will still be coming through well into the night. New York Roadrunners did an excellent job once again putting on this logistically complex event, made even more difficult by all the restrictions due to COVID. Thank you to our friends at the New York Roadrunners. And Sam, we'd like to thank you as well for sitting by my side and sharing this great moment with us here on Channel 7.
We saw history made today at this New York City Marathon. As the 50th running of the New York City Marathon, we saw history in the women's race. Perez Jepkirchir, she from Kenya, she was the first runner to win an Olympic gold and the New York City Marathon. Just an awesome event.
Just an awesome event. For more pictures, go to abc7ny.com. Enjoy your Sunday, everybody.
Can you feel that?